going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Ow, ow!
Oh, yeah.
This week, the Hutch for Red Rocktober continues. We've got one Hunger Games movie under our belt. We have 4 more movies to go, so Hutchtober or whatever will stretch out into Hutchvember. But yeah, 3 of those are Hunger Games, and one of them is the Five Nights at Freddy's one. So we are gonna do the second Hunger Games movie today, you guys.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
Yeah, depending on when you're listening to this, and it's maybe people will think of this as the third one after the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or something becomes the new first one. I don't know how people will treat this.
Is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes the only prequel movie we're getting?
And not if it makes money.
It's the only prequel book that exists, but that didn't stop Harry Potter.
Exactly. Also, that book was written in 2020, I believe. So, Suzanne Collins could still crank out books.
I thought you were gonna say so. It's gonna have a lot of 2020 and not that this movie's not on the nose with certain parts of it, but I don't want to see what a certain presidential analog looks like in the Hunger Gamesaverse.
Yeah,
I don't know, but we'll find out. I mean, who knows? Maybe the movie will be a humongous bomb and they'll never make another one. That happens more than you'd expect with some of these.
Well, is their core audience still there?
No, probably not. I don't think so. Yeah, I feel like it's a they still exist. But do they go out for Hunger Games movies? I don't know.
Yeah, they're all old now. They're all millennial, or maybe maybe there's zillennials, but yeah.
And it's weird because we said at least about the first one, we all liked it, and the second one, it was equally kind of popular. There's problems with the third and fourth one, so I understand why people don't love every single one of them. Mm-hmm, but compared to other series that have tried this that have a pretty bad track record, I'm honestly surprised that this isn't something more people are I like the Hunger Games, as opposed to Harry Potter, for example, where that becomes people's whole deal.
Yeah,
it's Hunger Games is pretty good, and it doesn't have a weirdo in charge, so that's always great that we know of.
If she is a weirdo, she has wisely chosen to just not talk about it.
Yeah.
And what more can we ask for from the rich?
Speaking of the rich, they're involved in this to some extent. You got some news, you guys. Which failing movie studio would you like to talk about first? Sony, Warner Brothers, or Disney?
Oh,
let's do Sony. It's the easier of the 3. And I don't even say this is failing, but it's just man, these animators must have been on their last breath when this movie came out. I saw a report today. I don't know if you guys saw this about Spider-Verse, that apparently that last scene where all the Spider-Men stand next to each other and we're going to protect the other Spider-Man was added a couple weeks before the movie came out. They're just throwing extra stuff in there, Why not?
That's great. It's great.
Why not make those animators try to figure out what all of them standing next to each other looks like? It's pretty good.
Yeah,
families or souls even.
Yeah, what does it matter? It's not like they're people, the animators, so we can just make them do whatever we want.
Well, and it's nice because if you get the animators when they're young, they don't have time to date and then start families.
Right.
So you pretty much can lock that down. The problem is when you get older animators who, maybe have children. Then you have to get the kids involved somehow, I guess. But
yeah, that is super annoying.
Yeah, I've got the quote here. This is for Empire Magazine. This was an interview with Justin K. Thompson, who was one of the directors for the movie. Apparently there were 3, not counting Lord and Miller, which makes sense. But it said, I was really worried about the ending until about 6 weeks before we finished the movie and we added it. The movie kind of fell flat at the end and was really a bummer. We had a screening and thankfully we were able to come up with the strategy of how to bring all these characters back together and bring the Spot back because he didn't come back, and show Rio and Jeff and tag all these characters. And it was awesome to see the old gang back together. This is the right time to bring them back into the movie. So Yeah, I feel like we've seen a couple things out since the movie came out of like it was a lot of trouble to work on, but it's just kind of become the standard now.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only fun Sony thing. Although apparently, I think we've talked about it, but and maybe we've talked about it twice, but maybe a third time. Bad Bunny is not doing El Muerto, and I think the new news there is it is now off the calendar. It doesn't seem like they're going to do it without him, which is just a shame. I know.
I'm still just inconsolable about this.
It's like, yeah, this would be like if they just decided not to do Captain America before Avengers. It's like, you got to do El Muerto. Everyone's favorite guy. We all read both of his comics. Like, we love him. It's probably going to start showing up in new stuff that got written while they thought there was going to be an El Muerto movie. And now we're going to like him. And then it was kind of be this weird cycle of like in and out. But let's talk about DC next and Warner Brothers and all that.
Yeah.
Did you guys see any of the Aquaman news this week?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Diggins, did you see this?
I don't think so. No, what is this?
Oh, okay. So Variety had a piece that came out yesterday entitled Aquaman 2 flooded with drama. Jason Momoa allegedly drunk on set. Amber Heard scenes cut. Elon Musk's letter to WB and more. So
what was that last part?
Yeah, so a lot of the article is about Amber Heard. I believe, not positive about this because I want to try to find the exact wording of what this was, but I think as part of the court case, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, a psychiatrist or like a therapist had to interview her, and those court records were part of the record. Like it wasn't like her regular therapist. It was like a different person. And because of that, people were able to get those unsealed, which is weird, but I don't know anything about how things gets unsealed. So maybe that's normal.
I'm sure whoever did that was very normal about it.
Well, I do think it makes her look cool, like not cool, but definitely doesn't paint a certain actor in an incredibly flattering light. But the three things that came out the most were that Jason Momoa, like we say, drunk all the time, which, whatever, not great, but not the worst thing anyone's ever done on a movie set.
Not the worst thing anyone's ever done on a movie set with Amber Heard.
Yeah, and not the worst thing that anybody, like, I feel like that used to be like the thing that would happen. A celebrity would get in a fight at a bar and get drunk, and we'd all be like, oh, I can't believe Russell Crowe would get drunk at that bar. And now it's like, that's pretty good, actually. Just don't get in too many fights with people, but otherwise, just don't do anything terrible. But anyway, he's so there's that. Apparently, he also started dressing like Johnny Depp. I don't know what that means, if he wore like a Pirates of the Caribbean kind of outfit, or if he just started getting really into scarves. Although I kind of think that was how he's been dressing for a while, but maybe this has been going on for a while. I don't know. That part I think is less clear. But the other one is apparently she had gotten a lot of fights with people on set that were like, they seem to have a difficult relationship, Amber and Jason Momoa, which led to her almost getting fired from the movie. But then her boyfriend at the time, or maybe ex at the time, Elon Musk, stepped in and wrote a letter to the studio that he was going to sue them all into oblivion if they cut her out of the movie. So then they didn't, which is very interesting because it's, yeah, I know.
Sorry. The idea that Elon Musk is a relatively good person in his story is making me want to vomit. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had some weird ulterior motive himself for wanting her to be in the movie or something. So I can't quite chalk all his motives up to being non-ulterior.
I'm not saying this doesn't counteract everything else. It's just, even just one story where he's not the worst possible human being is throwing me for a loop.
Yeah. No, it's pretty weird. And This article also said that the movie, and we've kind of talked about this, although I had heard it more in like really kind of vague Hollywood terms, so I didn't want to bring it up too much. But apparently the first cut of Aquaman 2 tested very badly. So then they reshot it, re-edited it, made another cut of it. That also tested really badly. And then the writer's strike happened. So we're getting this movie in a month or 2 months or something.
Hell
and
yeah.
They still can't film it, but I'm so curious what we end up with.
They can film all the parts that are just them shooting a green screen and adding the entire movie in later.
That's true. And they can, have it'll be a lot of like exposition delivered from the back of some character's head or something. We're going to get a lot of those.
You can't wait.
Like another thing, which we'll talk about next. But the only other thing in this thing that was interesting in this article was that apparently none of the stars of Zack Snyder's verse, besides Amanda Waller, because she seems to have snuck in via Peacemaker and those guys are going to return. So no Ezra Miller, no Gal Gadot, no Henry Cavill, no Ben Affleck.
What will we do without Ezra Miller?
Exactly. And then no Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but apparently he probably is going to play Lobo unless this all comes out and gets worse, and then maybe he won't. Who knows? But
it's so weird.
Bizarre. And like, I'm sure, 2 days ago, we were all like, well, this is definitely the big, weird, entertainment story of the week. Yeah. And then today, I want to say this was Hollywood Reporter interview or article came out about about Daredevil. Did you guys see this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a big one. So, yeah, the Daredevil show is on pause and they're redoing it again because they didn't like it. Kevin Feige watched it and went, not anymore of this, and they're going to give it another shot. And apparently this is kind of the last straw in this more significant restructuring and rethinking of how Marvel TV specifically operates. And by that, I mean, they're going to start making TV shows instead of movies. And that's, a good idea.
What is it though? Is it though?
I mean, I think they couldn't hurt to start thinking about these as not, 4-hour movies split into 6 parts. Like, I think having a showrunner and having all that stuff, I don't know if that would have fixed like some of the ones that are terrible, but it maybe would have saved some of the ones that had really weird endings. That kind of almost ruined the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, it's fair.
Because like it definitely seems like, I think the part of the story that I read that was the best was when the She-Hulk people were like, we should have a whole thing going for the whole season. And Kevin Feige was like, what do you mean? And they were like, like a season-long arc. And he was like, incredible. Write this down right now. I don't even never even thought about that. Apparently, some version of that happened. So, yeah, they're just inventing television over there. Very incredible.
But like,
somebody had to eventually.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know that a TV focused method is better. It doesn't feel better, right?
Listen, I don't know that a TV focused method is better for this whole greater project, the viability of which in the long term I question more and more every day. But I think a TV focused method is better for making seasons of television.
I mean, yes, I agree. But I think my biggest gripe with like the MCU in general is like it always just feels like the shows are just in service of the next thing and not always in service of telling good stories, which is kind of a pain in the ass.
Well, DJ, you could take out the TV shows part of that sentence entirely.
Okay, fair enough.
And also, no, I feel like some of the shows have been like so self-contained that you're almost like, are we ever going to see Moon Knight again? Like, how much is this actually leading into anything?
Right, yeah.
And if that's what they're doing, then it's like, well, I don't know, maybe make the show a little bit more of a show then.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, that's what I would hope this means. I don't know that it does, but...
Yep. Yeah, I saw part of the article. I don't know, did either of you guys read this article?
Nah.
I don't have time to read.
There were a couple fun little tidbits. Like, one of them is that Daredevil didn't put on the Daredevil suit until episode 4 out of, to be fair, 18. So it's not like one of those 6-episode seasons. I know. I don't know if they were going to split it up into 9 and 9 or what the plan was with this, but But yeah, so he didn't put in the suit on.
I mean, let's be fair. That used to be not even standard. That used to be less than normal.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, there's CW shows from like maybe 5 years ago that were still 22, 23 episode seasons. It's bizarre how much things have changed. But yeah, so like that was like something, I think that was supposed to be kind of the last straw with this, where like Kevin Feige was like, he's not even in the Daredevil suit. And they were like, yeah, we made like a law procedural. And he's like, absolutely not. I want him to do Daredevil stuff every minute of this show. Otherwise, what's the point? So that seems to be what the big rewrite focus is going to be, is more Daredeviling, which, yeah.
Is it no longer based on Daredevil Born Again?
I mean, Daredevil Born Again is kind of what the third season was, kind of. Like, I feel like it's another one of these like homecoming things where you pick the name that's kind of fun for what the, you know, in like the meta version of the title should be. But I don't know what this, if anything, it seems like this series is going to be based off of one of the more recent Daredevil runs where Fisk is president, or Fisk is mayor, and he outlaws superheroes, because it seems like that's a plot point that we've heard a lot of today.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing that was fun about the article was that I don't know if you guys would believe this, but apparently Secret Invasion was not a good shoot. Everyone hated each other in the writing room or something, and like was constantly undermining one another. So,
do you think that comes across in the show at all, Nando?
You know, you kind of, honestly, you'd hope it would. You'd hope there'd be a little bit more like passion or something. But in fact, it's one of those like Heart of Darkness situations where the real story about political intrigue and backstabbing and stuff like that was taking place in the writer's room. And in the show, everybody was just standing around mostly. And then they all got bored and then left. That's the end of it.
So when you say Heart of Darkness, do you mean the Joseph Conrad novel?
No, isn't that what the documentary about Apocalypse Now is called? I think that's what that is. Yes. Yeah.
Because it's kind of sort of an adaptation of that book, sort of.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know. Marvel, they got lucky with this writer strike and actor strike, because no one expects anything to be out in any specific time frame. But I don't know what's going on here. If you guys could send Kevin Feige a little note with one sentence on it, what would it be?
Retire.
Of advice or something.
Retire, bitch.
Wow.
He did what he needed to do, but it's over, Kevin. Like, move on. You can't do this shit forever.
But then who replaces him?
No one.
The Russos?
My note would say, stop.
Oh my God.
Just stop.
Just stop.
I mean, even if you stop all the...
We don't need to keep doing this.
Even if we stop this, we're going to make like an X-Men movie and stuff. Like, they're definitely going to do those, and Fantastic Four. So we need a guy for that.
If every once in a while we put out an X-Men movie, put out a Fantastic Four movie, maybe do a Spider-Man or two, that's a world that I'm fine with.
I don't know. I'm kind of done with Spider-Mans, but you know what? We'll get more than you can ever believe.
If it changed to, you know, maybe every couple years, we put out one of these movies, everyone has a good time with it, and then we move on with our lives instead of everything forever all the time, then I think that's a good world.
Well, incorrect, Diggins. The correct answer is keep doing them forever. And also now A24 is going to make movies like this, and this is just what it is. Did you guys see this one today?
No.
A24 is like, we want to make a blockbuster too.
No, that's the whole point of you guys is that you're not that.
They already made Green Knight.
They made everything all at once. Like, that's an expensive movie. I feel like it's got all kinds of special effects, and it's like better than a lot of the movies that are in its subgenre, but I wouldn't say it is unlike traditional action movies.
I mean, sure, but also like blockbuster is a matter of budget. Like, Everything Everywhere All at Once cost like $25 million to make at most. Like,
imagine if it cost $200 million.
I don't see how $175 million more dollars makes that movie better.
Instead of Jenny Slate, it's George Clooney. or something, you know? That would be pretty good. We all like him drinking an espresso instead of a coffee and whipping his dog at the nice lady.
It is a good scene.
It's a crazy scene. It's the only scene that I feel like I've watched with people and they've been like, oh.
Really? Not the butt plug part?
I mean, butt plug is, for people, that's fine. And consenting butt plugging adults. For that poor dog, it's like, I don't know if this dog knows about the multiverse and, years and years of trauma and stuff. I think this dog's just like, we're going for a walk. Oh, mom's picking me up. Wait, where am I going? I'm hitting
That's
this
what makes it good. Because like all dogs should, it's suffering.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah, movies are weird now. All the movie studios are in weird disarray or something.
Well, because writers and actors have told them, we actually want to be paid real dollars, and they don't know how to process that information.
It is tricky. And like, I think the Daredevil one almost gets at this, which is the whole problem of like streaming media isn't really profitable to any quantifiable degree. So what is any of it worth? Kind of like Zaslav with Blue Beetle and like Batgirl. It is, I think, the question of that one of them is going to have to figure out an answer for, and I don't think anybody has yet. But luckily, there's still movies coming to the theater, like Aquaman 2 and this one, Songbirds of Ballads and Songbirds of Snakes or something.
Yeah.
What is it called?
The Creator.
The Creator.
You all love.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. You were right the first time.
But there's no like Hunger Games :
I think it is, but
it's got to be something, right? Like
out.
A Hunger Games saga.
I'm pretty sure it's just Hunger Games: A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is also true of this movie, by the way. The book is just Catching Fire.
That makes sense. Yeah. At least it's not as bad as like Twilight Saga : whatever. Think like with Hunger Games, it's just like it's a Hunger Games movie. Don't pretend it's like, Shakespeare or anything. But especially because there were the same amount of both of them, right? There was 4 Twilight movies or 5. Were there 5?
5
Jesus
Twilight movies
Christ.
because there were 4 books.
Yeah,
and they broke
that's right.
The last book into 2 movies, as all of these things did at this time period. For very understandable reasons, being money, but for extremely little artistic reasons.
Yeah, and especially with Twilight, now I'm looking back, like I could not tell you what happens in movie 3. Like there was some real dead air in the middle of that franchise. With this one, now
God,
I do think
what does happen in movie 3?
I think it's the one where she tries to have chemistry with the wolf boy and it doesn't work. I think it's that one. But
isn't that hold on. The second one is the one where he disappears and then she has chemistry with the wolf boy. Yeah, okay. That's the one where he disappears and then they end in Italy. And then the third one is the one where Bryce Dallas Howard shows up and is like, I'm the person from the first movie. And the characters are like, no, you're not. And she's like, shh, they recast it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I forgot about her. Argyle's own Bryce Dallas Howard.
Mm-hmm.
So good in these. So they're caught up now because they haven't done a Twilight sequel or like prequel yet. So 5 Hunger Games is 5 Twilights.
They did write that. She did write that book. That's the first book, but from Edward's perspective. So maybe we'll get that eventually.
I was thinking about that the other day because if you wanted to reboot Twilight, you could just do it. Like you just make the movie again. But that is kind of almost an interesting angle, is doing the first movie again, but from his perspective and starting that as the reboot. But I don't know. They'll probably just do the first one again. And Kristen Stewart will play the mom or something. But you guys, we got to talk about, speaking of moms, there's one in this movie.
That's true.
We got to talk. Yeah.
Sorry, I have one more news thing, Nando.
Oh, what's your news thing?
So I want to update everyone on the bracket of the football pick'em. Yeah. So there are 21 entrants remaining out of 100. So we truly have the finest left available, and I believe there is an effort, if you go on the Discord, that is being, I won't say it's being orchestrated by Supreme Court Justice Roger. Like, that would be, I wouldn't want to make that claim. Like, that would feel irresponsible. But I would say that he may have interest in trying to get everyone left in the pool to pick Entourage as their movie that we nitpick.
Don't give oxygen to these terrorists, DJ.
No. Look, I wouldn't want to tell anyone how to use their prize, right? Because it is a prize, it is a reward for winning. However, if they all agree that that's a thing they should do because it makes sense, who are we to stop them? That's all I'm saying.
Listen, all of you out there listening to this, still in that pool, I want you to know it only takes one of you to rebel against this tyranny.
Oh my God.
It only takes one of you to tear down this edifice of cruelty that Roger is attempting to build.
Allegedly.
You must find it in your hearts to have that shred of mercy necessary to not make us watch the Entourage movie. You simply must.
You guys, you can hear how much it bothers him. And I think that will only catch the fire and fan the flames of the rebellion that is actually the heroic rebellion, the one to get the Entourage movie into our hearts and minds.
This feels like
that will only
fan
fan the flames and make the fire rise.
Like, lambast
as
these
Bane
people.
once said.
You should be praising them. This just feels like a huge mistake by you, Diggins.
I mean, I would say present an alternative to them. I don't know what the I feel like there are a couple things.
Freddie got fingered. Let's do it.
Oh God!
It's like the last. I don't think I've ever seen it either.
I haven't.
It's bad. It's definitely not good.
I just think that you are enabling your own demise by voicing your displeasure.
I have lots of trash. If people want ideas, I have lots of trash on a list to force us to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard great things about the new Exorcist movie. I think going blind into like the most recent Conjuring movie would probably be pretty interesting.
Nando, you wish I would be going that close to the top of the barrel.
It's a good time for weird little horror movies about exorcists. Some being good and great movies that I love, and some apparently not being very good. But
truth.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Hunger Games part. Wait,
yes,
part. No part. Catching Fire. Yeah,
it's just not even 2, DJ. Just the Hunger Games Catching Fire.
We gotta talk about Catching Fire, you guys. This is the second movie in the Hunger Games series. It's the one based on one of the books. It came out. It was a big hit. A couple new guys are in it. Otherwise, it's not really too much that we're need to like talk about beforehand. I don't know who directed this one. I don't know who directed any of these actually, which is weird.
This one was Francis Lawrence.
Okay.
Is that the same one as the last one?
No. This person directed I Am Legend and The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1.
Ooh, and Constantine.
And Part 2.
Part 2. Okay.
And both. Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh, and the new one. Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, so just after the first one, they became the Hunger Games person.
Yeah, they're the what's that guy's name from Harry Potter of this? Peter something.
Oh.
One guy who like took over after
Alfonso Cuarón.
I wish. Yeah, no, the other one. The one that took over after him made them all kind of look the same.
He also did that Jennifer Lawrence Russian spy movie, Red Sparrow.
Yeah, and he also does a lot of like the music videos, apparently, like Lady Gaga, Britney Spears and stuff. That's interesting.
Good for this guy.
Yeah, good for him. You know, directing in these definitely doesn't stand out as bad or anything like that. None of the boom mics are in the shots. Everybody's probably where they were supposed to be when they said action. You know, it's a solid go at it. But who is in charge of this week? Who is the IMDb keeper?
It's me.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Let's hear what we got. By the way, everybody who's text or tweeting to us about the Beekeeper movie, I've seen the trailer. I'm sure we'll cover it. But not much to say until the movie is out. But yeah, DJ, what do you got for what's the story with this one?
Yeah, so every week we try and guess the summary for the movie that we're doing, as dictated by IMDb. And you listeners are probably wondering, how does IMDb come up with these summaries? Well, what they do is every year, all of the IMDb writers have to fight in a battle royale to the death based on some selection criteria, usually by genre. So the horror writers, someone's a tribute, and then the action comedy writers, someone's a tribute, and then the fantasy movies, there's a tribute, and so on and so forth. And then they all fight, and then there's a winner, and they are the true IMDb'smen for that year. Now, sometimes what they do is they get all the people who've won before, all of the writers, and now they have to not fight, but they have to write IMDb summaries in like a competition. So they all watch a movie, and then they write IMDb summary, and then President IMDb selects the best one, and then that person wins, and everyone else dies. So it's a much more swift execution of justice. And some might say, isn't this too harsh? Might it incite rebellion by just, blindly executing IMDb writers who people love? And the answer is no, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be okay. Also, one of the IMDb upper plutocracy bureaucrats is like secretly evil or secretly good. I don't know. It's really unclear what this person's motivations are. Maybe in a future IMDb movie we'll understand. But so this is the summary for the one surviving IMDb writer for the Hunger Games: Catching Fire. And
DJ, I really have to praise your U.S. media-like objectivity in describing the other participants as having died rather than being killed.
Oh, right. That's... Thank you. Of course. So the person who wrote this, I think it's good that they're alive. However, the other ones must have been pretty stinky because this summary is fine. It is on the shorter side, and it's pretty broad. So, yeah, I wouldn't try and get too, well, get as specific as you want, but definitely keep it on the shorter end. So which one of you goes first?
As always, I get to choose, and I'm picking Diggins.
Okay.
I want to go second.
Okay. When the quarter quell twist of the 75th annual Hunger Games forces Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark to participate once again, they must form alliances with the other tributes in order to survive.
Okay. Nando?
I'm going to say Katniss and Peeta need to return to the Hunger Games for the 75th version of it, the quarter quell.
That's it?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, neither of you won, so... You know what that means.
Miscarriage of justice.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a pretty fair carriage of justice. I think what happened is you guys focused too much on what happened in the movie, as usual.
Damn. But I hate when I make that mistake.
Was I supposed to focus on what happened outside of the movie, like in the lobby?
It's actually mostly about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Ah, okay. Yeah, this is I should have done the master instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have done the, yeah. This is also a thinly veiled metaphor for Scientology when you really think about it.
You read the books, right?
I did. So you should definitely do a trivia thing that involves the books.
Swear to God, I don't know any of their names.
I did read them 10 years ago or more, I think. So like, it's not like I remember them very well.
I think Nando, give a shot at this. Let's see how this goes. Okay. So, the third quarter quell, which is the 75th Hunger Games, had the participants from all the previous winners, the victors, participate in this one. So, Contest of Champions. I'm going to have you guys take a guess. You can guess for the previous 2 Quarter Quells, it was like a different format, right?
Oh, okay.
See if you can give me the format for either of the previous 2 Quarter Quells for how the participants were selected.
And they're different from this one.
Mm-hmm.
This
and
is
they're
like
different from each other. Like
Okay.
every Quarter Quell is like a different thing.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Diggins, do you know this? Do you have any guesses or like ideas?
Do I go first?
Yeah.
He
Sure.
knows.
So I'm going to say I do think I remember this from the book, if this is correct. But I believe one of them was double participants, 4 tributes from each district.
Oh, that's a cool one. I was going to say, I mean, a Quarter Quell, like, if it wasn't districts again, or if it wasn't like victors again, you could do a couple things. None of these are well, I guess I shouldn't say them. I should, in case we need to do it again. I'll say, you know what? I'll say, I don't think it would. A vote wouldn't make sense. I'm going to say, I mean, maybe it would. I'm going to say the opposite of Diggins is 1 participant per district.
Oh, so it would be half as normal. So Diggins is correct that the second Quarter Quell was double. It was 2 boys and 2 girls. And that one was won by Haymitch, actually. That's the one he won.
Yep.
Yeah. Diggins,
a scene that was cut out from this movie from its corresponding book.
Oh. Do you remember the Diggins, what the first one was?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, Nando, you should have went with your gut because it was in fact a vote.
How could you vote though? Would you vote for like one guy? Like would everybody vote for them? And then otherwise it's just
is it that the selection of tribute was a vote? Like each district got to vote on who got sent?
District members had to vote on who would be selected as each tribute.
That's insane. That's such a bad way to do Hunger Games.
Wait, why?
Because like it's just random. Like I feel like, is it a punishment or is it something where you like get to do it? Like it's like,
do you actually? The point of this is to be cruel.
Well, but then you got some guys that are like sick at it and they actually think it's cool. But like, what do? You vote for like the kid who's the worst in class? Because these are all children. Like, how do they vote which kid to send off to war?
Yeah, Nando, like it's a cruel punishment almost.
Well, right, but at least when it's random, it's random. Like it's like that's, it's unfair, but it's at least like you don't make the kids decide.
Nando, what part of they want to torture these people are you not understanding?
I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel like it would work. It wouldn't be fun like these other ones are. And I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it would be fun. I think it would be a bummer to watch it because you'd feel guilty because you voted for them, as opposed to like this one where it just happened.
That is the point.
I think it would be a bummer. I don't think it would be a good Hunger Games. Because you wouldn't vote for anybody that's good at it.
Sitting in the Capitol, like, man, my child death games have been made more depressing than I would like this year.
Exactly. You'd be like, you wouldn't even be able to enjoy it, because you'd be like, shit, I was actually voted for her. I feel like the voting would get all weird too, right? Like some of the kids would vote for each other because like, oh, you took my lunch money. I'm going to make you go to Hunger Games. Like, oh my God. It's insane. It'd be lawlessness that whole year. Like that would incite the rebellion more than this. There's no way that one wasn't the worst year ever for Hunger Games. Because it would only be the most annoying kids, too. You'd have to watch it, where it's like the fucking jokesters of each class, who everyone is ganged up on, or like the ugly kids or something, all doing a Hunger Games. Just doesn't feel right.
All right, I have my actual tiebreaker.
Also, do the adults get to vote, or just the kids?
What? Yeah, I mean, that's not made clear here. I assume it's the same pool, like 13 to 17 or whatever. And also,
12 to 18.
12 to 18. I'm not giving you it because you read the book. Like, that's insane.
This is discrimination of the highest
No, it's
order.
not. I have a good one. Okay. Hunger Games was the highest grossing film of 2013 in North America. It was the first film to top the annual box office with a top billed female lead in the 21st century. What was the previous movie to top the annual box office in North America with a top billed female lead?
I have a guess for this.
I have a guess. I have a couple guesses.
I think Nando
do you want the most recent or like?
Yeah, like the one prior to Hunger Games.
And you said this hadn't happened in the 20th century.
In the 21st century.
Or 21st century, right? So it's a 20th
before
century
Hunger Games, that is.
Yeah. I mean, like, top billed female lead. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I feel like mine's the obvious one, but sure, I'd say Titanic has to have a top billed female lead. And it was the highest grossing movie of the year it came out.
Do I wait for Diggins to give his answer and then say if it's correct or not?
Wait for me.
Sure.
Because I think Nando's wildly optimistic about both where Leonardo DiCaprio was placed on that billing and how willing studios were to give advertising and big pushes to movies with female leads. So
I didn't realize you meant only top billed. I thought you meant like above the title billing. Oh, okay.
No. Like the top, like the build first on the fucking post. Yeah. So
I'm gonna go back way further and say the last one was Gone with the Wind.
Okay, that would not have been my guess. So that would...
Well, they are both incorrect. So
okay,
we'll go to round 2.
All right. So I have an obvious one and then like a weird one, and I kind of want to go with the weird one. But
is it wrong to ask for a hint? A specific hint I have a question for.
What's the question? I'll decide whether I want to answer. Before
Which one of us was closer in time?
Ooh, I'm not going to give that to you yet.
Okay.
Although you said Gone with the Wind.
He did say Gone with the Wind.
Yeah,
so like
the 40s.
Yeah, I guess I'll answer that. Yeah, Nando was closer. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So most recent movie starring with a woman at the top of the ticket, like number one.
That is the defining thing here.
So then the question becomes, which of these sequels stopped charting? I'm gonna say Aliens is probably the answer then, because I don't think Aliens 3 made a lot of money. I don't even remember she's in that one, but that's the only other movie I can think of. Well, it's not the only other movie. I have another one in case we have to do this again, but that would have been my guess if I hadn't done Titanic.
Aliens is a pretty good guess. God, what big women leading movies came out in those decades? Gorsh. It's closer to Nando, so not any of these older movies I'm thinking about. It was like a huge box office draw. Who was one of them women?
Mm-hmm.
One of them females.
He is just stalling for time.
Yeah, because I can't think of anything.
I feel like there's got to be...
I'm sure there's a million answers that if my brain was working properly would be flooding my mind as we speak. But my brain is broken, like most of me. So I'm having trouble.
After Diggins guesses, I'm gonna open up the I'm gonna give you guys help.
Oh, so I guess I'm wrong because it's not Aliens.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's fine. I mean, it's okay.
At this point, I would have put Diggins out of his misery and be like, "All right, Nando got it."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'll take any movie.
Name a woman, Diggins. For $1.
Richard Linklater. Fuck.
All right, Diggins, do you have a movie for me?
You'd think I must at this point, right? Like,
Yeah, literally
I
any
must.
movie.
Oh my god, who are popular actresses from the 90s and 80s?
I mean,
What movies
I
did
don't want
they
to give
do?
you a. You're gonna count him down, Nando.
I'm not gonna. I can't count him down.
Oh my god, my
The
brain
audience
is
is
seizing up.
the audience is screaming movies.
We
to
simply
the top
must
of their
cut
lungs.
this down. We simply must.
Absolutely not. It's too hard.
All right, don't make me count you down, Diggins.
I'm genuinely drawing a complete blank. I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna move on. All right, so let me give you guys a hint. So it was the first. I'm gonna read the thing and just leave out the blanks. There's another movie here that you guys could give me that would fill this like criteria. So okay, it was the first film to top the annual box office with a top billed female lead since blank. That's the movie you're trying to guess, and the first with a woman as the sole protagonist and primary marketing focused since blank.
Okay, I'm gonna give my guess then because this would have fit either one of them. Maybe
Give me either movie and you got it.
I'm gonna say Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, Diggins.
I'll just stick with that theme and say The Little Mermaid.
Okay,
Oh, it's a good one.
Both are incorrect.
Okay, can I go again?
Yes, please.
I would say the first Terminator movie.
Okay, Diggins.
I do think Arnold takes over those eventually, but I think maybe for the first one they were able to sneak Sarah Connor in there.
I think he took over from the very beginning.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so you implied that this woman was double billed with a male protagonist. A male protagonist, if you will. Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh,
No.
it's a good one. So mine was wrong too?
Nando? Yeah, both wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. Okay. So these are all my guesses. They're all done. Trying to think like what's a movie, because you always hear this, especially I've seen a couple of videos about this recently too, like people kind of saying like, oh, movies aren't the same as they used to be. It's only box office is, superheroes now. And they'll go back and list some of the highest grossing movies of previous years, like Home Alone, for example.
Yeah.
That obviously doesn't fit, but like stuff like that where you're like, oh yeah, wow, what about that movie?
Let me, Nando, before you go, let me give you guys both a hint because it's top of the round, so I can give a hint. Every movie you guys have given me so far, with the exception of Gone with the Wind, is too recent.
Okay. I've got another guess then.
All right, Nando.
I'm going to say Kramer versus Kramer.
Okay. Diggins.
Sure, that's also the 90s.
Is it?
Pretty sure.
Kramer vs. Kramer is 1979.
Yeah, it's
wow,
old.
really? Wow,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
This isn't the Seinfeld one. This is another one.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's
that episode of Seinfeld where he
where
buys that evil mirror is. They did call it that, but it was based on this one.
okay. Yeah, no, okay, that was the mistake I was making. Thank you.
You can tell it's not good Kramer because he doesn't shake when he enters a room. Actually, I guess they have good. Yeah.
The twist at the end is that our Kramer is evil Kramer.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like Us. Remember that movie Us? Yeah. It's the ending of it.
It's another big female-led movie from like the 70s. I'm gonna go with Mary Poppins.
Oh,
Incorrect.
Good one.
That is a super awesome guess, though.
That's pretty old though. Like I feel like
it's for the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's then we're bordering on because your first one was what, the 40s?
I think it's actually the 50s. Now that
Sound of Music. Yeah.
No, Gone with the Wind.
Oh, Gone with the Wind. Right. Yeah.
That's 39.
39.
Oh,
okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
But so my first one was 97, so which means we're working with like 70s and up, based on the way DJ said mine was closer.
Yeah. I mean,
and I was wrong. Mine was also wrong.
Yeah, they were both wrong. Okay, so
Oh wait, I got another one.
Please.
Pretty Woman.
No.
God damn it.
Definitely. I don't think that was the 70s.
Oh, I know. I was just going for a 90s one that might have been, because she might have been the double billing one. I was guessing that was like Julia Roberts.
Both of these are in the band of Diggins.
Okay, I'm emptying my mind of all distractions.
Here's a question, DJ. You can answer this even before I get to my next guest. Would you reasonably assume we've both seen both of these movies?
I am sure you have both seen that first movie. I'm positive Diggins has seen the second movie. Maybe you have, Nando. I don't know. And these are movies at a minimum you've both heard of.
Sure.
Because remember, they were the top box office that year. So at a minimum, you're like, yes, I'm aware of that movie.
Right. Shrek. Shrek was in the 2000s, but yeah. Shrek the negative first. What was the secret Shrek movie we never got to see? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The one where it was still...
oh, yeah, Chris Farley.
Where it's still Chris Farley, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm going to give Diggins a guess, and I'll give you both another guess, and then, I don't know. This is... I feel like we're poking around. I don't want to say until Diggins gives his guess.
Yeah, Diggins, you give your guess, and then let DJ do another hint or something.
Give your guess.
Okay, I have a guess that I am going to say in just a moment.
Okay.
And that guess is Oklahoma.
Oh.
Incorrect.
It's an interesting guess.
I figured it wouldn't be correct, but...
Okay, so let me say this. The bands, the between Mary Poppins, which was 1964, and Kramer vs. Kramer, which is 1979, both of these movies are inside of that band of time.
Okay.
So that 15-year period.
And as a reminder, the one movie features, they were a top billed female for the highest grossing movie that year, and the other one was the woman who was the sole protagonist and primary marketing focus since, that was the top.
I think DJ came up with this tiebreaker just to show that Nando and I are not allies.
I didn't think.
Look at all the great women movies we came up with on our own that have come out since then. If anything, we're better allies.
There's a hint that's too obvious that I refuse to give because I feel that it'll just give it away completely.
All right, good. Then don't tell us. Maybe. Can I give a guess?
Please.
Is it my turn, right?
Yeah, I went.
I'm going to say this one because I don't know when it came out, but I would feel really dumb if this ended up being the answer, and I'd let Diggins have it. Some Like It Hot.
Okay.
That would have been earlier, I believe. Also, those two men were definitely billed before Marilyn Monroe.
She's Marilyn Monroe, though. It's like Arnold in, Batman 4, where it's like he's on the top of the poster, even though he's not Batman, because he's Arnold.
Yeah, I guess that's possible. You got a point there.
Yeah.
Diggins, do you have a guess? And remember, you're always free to guess the same movie as Nando. To have a double tiebreaker and break my brain.
And what do we do? Vote? Like the dumb Hunger Games? Yeah. The bad one everyone probably hated?
For the first time ever, two winners. Just like last movie, Hunger Games. Yeah. Both win in a co-win. It's just
DJ has to guess against himself next week.
Yeah.
Listen, if Nando is right and I'm wrong about when that movie came out, then he can have it. So I'm going to come up with a different answer.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can get it right and have a different movie than me too, even if that was...
That's true, because
you can get the other one. Yeah.
What? Why do I feel like... Hold on, I can't think of the name of this, but
even if you get close, I might give it to you. If you describe the movie to me, the thing where the thing happens, I'll be like, yeah, you got it.
Right, there's an ogre. He lives in a swamp. He doesn't like it when he has company. He's Scottish, depending on which version you watch. Yeah, it's a real curmudgeon. Oh, God. Have you been to Disney World? All right, that's going to help a lot with this.
God damn it.
Brutal tiebreaker. I didn't think it would be. I was like, surely.
You were like, surely Nando and Diggins are good allies who can think of movies with women in them.
We've named such good ones. I was like, when I said not Aliens originally, I felt like such an idiot. So I was like, well, of course it's Aliens. And it wasn't. And it's like, oh, I have no idea then. This could be anything.
What you've discounted, DJ, is that I'm very stupid. And when you ask me a question, all information leaves my brain immediately.
All right, Diggins, give a hint, and then I'm gonna have to give the obvious hint, and then just see how it plays out.
When did movies come out? I don't know.
I think the first one was 1907. I don't know.
Yeah, with the train,
The
right?
donkeys.
The train coming right at
It
the
really
thing.
depends what you consider the first movie.
Yeah.
So DJ says I've definitely seen the second one, which does lend credence to Nando's guess.
And
Right.
you've definitely seen the first one.
I've got another guess at the first one that, like, I think could be. I'm just trying to think of iconic movies from the 70s. And I've got another one that has a woman. To be fair, a lot of them do.
Diggins, are you willing to allow Nando to guess?
No. Give another guess.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to turn it into the lightning round where you just start shouting movies at me.
Okay.
I honestly don't hate it.
You go through all the
Probably
Shreks.
makes for good content.
Puss in Bootses. Yeah.
Quiz.
Just to throw the heat onto Diggins. Never gets a second to think. Just
It might spur thought within him.
That's true. It could be. Yeah, it could be something kind of related. Oh shit! Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Do you have a guess, Diggins?
I'm gonna say I really don't. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
All right, Nando, give me a guess.
Well, are you going to give the hint? Because if he doesn't have another guess, he's not going to come up with one later. So,
all right. I have two hints. I'm going to give the less obvious one. Okay, Diggins' guess of Oklahoma was shockingly close given the category of movie for one of these.
All right, movies that are states.
Got it. All right,
California,
do you have a guess
movie.
For me? It only describes one of the movies. Maybe
no, I do know because this actually fits in what my other one was going to be. Grease.
Okay, Diggins, do you have another guess based on my new?
All right, well that's obviously correct. Now that he said it out loud. I mean, that's probably the musical, which is the one you gave the hint for, and I can't think of anything else. So, I mean, just tell him if it's Grease or not, because if it is, he wins.
It's not Grease.
God damn it.
You guys are like stabbing around it. I don't know what to do.
West Side Story.
That is also incorrect.
I mean, other musical movies. If it's not Grease, I'm not convinced I've seen it.
Maybe Diggins has. I would be shocked, Diggins, if you haven't seen this movie. Okay, my other hint. The other movie has been very relevant in conversations given recent events regarding movies that have come out.
I don't think
duh. No, I got it.
Well,
maybe. I have a guess.
West Side Story, so.
Is it The Exorcist?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I have seen The Exorcist.
I have not seen The Exorcist. Not front to back.
Wait, you haven't seen The Exorcist?
I've seen all the exorcism scenes. I know there's more than that, but I don't like scary movies. So it really, you gotta really work to get me in seats.
I'm gonna tell you,
hasn't seen that.
I'm gonna tell you why I couldn't think of that, DJ. Which is, I'm surprised to hear that a woman was top billed in that movie.
Yeah, it was
Linda Blair or no?
Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen
Burstyn.
Mm-hmm. That was the mother.
Yeah.
Who's in this new one.
She was top billed.
Wowee.
The other one was The Sound of Music.
Oh, that makes sense.
Have you seen that, Diggins?
Yeah, I have also seen that.
Have you seen that, Nando?
I don't watch movies about Nazis. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a good person.
I got that one right then.
No, yeah, I've never seen it.
Nazis are.
I don't watch movies to support Nazis, and
that movie is incredibly anti-Nazi. Actually,
I mean, by platforming them at all, that's not helping. So I'm just saying, some of us take stances that are brave, and some of us watch the Nazi movies.
But by the way,
so wait. Nando is sitting here telling us that he's never watched a single Indiana Jones.
Nope, or an X-Men movie. They've all just gone right past me. I hear they're good. I've heard good things, but not yet. One of these days, maybe.
By the way, which one of you guessed Mary Poppins?
Me.
Diggins, I felt for you so bad because Mary Poppins was the top grossing movie, but it came out in 1964 and The Sound of Music was 1965. It was a year after. So women were killing it in the mid 60s. They were just doing it awesome, I guess.
Yeah.
The mid 60s, prime time for very famous women. So Diggins, I'm so sorry. Even though you read the book and it said Mary Poppins, Nando wins.
Even though you just decided randomly that the first tiebreaker didn't count because I knew the answer.
I forgot about that.
It didn't seem fair.
It didn't seem fair that you knew what the answer was, which is the whole point of a tiebreaker. So we decided to do a second one until you lost.
You know what, Diggins? This just isn't your time. Nando wins this week. We're doing Entourage. It's just.
Listen, Diggins.
The age of Diggins is over.
DJ, if you have a better tiebreaker, I'm ready to hear it. If you want to do a third version of this, if we're doing just box office trivia, how about this? What's the highest grossing domestic movie of 2020? You'll never guess. Not in a million years.
Mars Needs Moms.
No. This is 2020 we're talking about here.
Is it Onward?
No, but that's the right year. It's a movie we all saw and did on podcast. But like, if you look at all the years,
the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
No, that's number 2 behind this one.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so funny that this is number 1.
I'm like, what else came out in 2020 is what I just cannot remember.
Oh, I mean, you forgot about this movie the minute you left the theater. Like, no one has thought about this movie. And it's so funny because this is sandwiched between the highest grossing movie of 2019, Avengers Endgame, and the highest grossing movie of 2021, Spider-Man Far From Home, or No Way Home. Both made billions of dollars or whatever. And then this one that, like, obviously because of COVID, but still, like,
I legit can't remember. Like, I can't remember what movies, because that was COVID, right?
Yeah, it was
what
COVID.
Movies came out during COVID?
Movies that, weren't going to make that much money. But yeah, it's the highest grossing movie of 2020, Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah.
$200 million. Insane. Now, to be fair, that is domestic. International, Jumanji and Star Wars 9, I guess, because those released later, probably did better. But still, like, Bad Boys beat them all domestically.
Was Star Wars 9 released in 2020?
It was in 2019 like the end of the year in the US, but maybe they staggered those.
It spilled over into 2020.
Jesus Christ.
I know. And Jumanji, I think, does just generally do well overseas. Like those are pretty.
Yeah.
Doesn't make money
That's
there.
so funny.
Because it's something where none of the dialogue matters.
Exactly. And The Rock, it has The Rock in it. Box office Viagra until recently. So DJ, do you have a secret Nando. Third tiebreaker, DJ?
I've never, since we wrapped up that podcast, I have never once in my life thought about Bad Boys for Life.
I've more than once I've seen news articles that are like they're thinking about a 5th one, and I'm like, how did they get that far into it? They haven't even made 3. And then I'm like, no, they did do a 3rd one, and then or I guess a 4th one, because were there only 2 before this most recent one?
Bad Boys for Life is 3, even though it's for life.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's just terrible.
They gotta get their shit together with this one. Together. Honestly.
Do you guys want me to read the summary for this movie?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark become targets of the Capitol after their victory in the 74th Hunger Games sparks a rebellion in the districts of Panem.
Yeah, okay.
I guess.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's not great, right? It's not great.
It's definitely like, it wouldn't sell the movie. It's not what I think like the trailers were.
Yeah. It's like, you guys were foolish to mention the 75th Hunger Games.
Yeah.
That was your mistake. And you shouldn't have done that.
What a mistake.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, we did great.
So Diggins, you have the unfortunate task of describing this movie.
I do. So, all right. We've got a little bit of Catching Fire here, ladies and gentlemen. A little movie called Catching Fire, The Hunger Games. Strike that, reverse it. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. I think I should have won because I said both of their full names, but anyway.
I mean, I guess.
Okay.
All right. We'll do it the other. I'll describe it then.
No. Okay, so we start a few months, I think it's 6 months after. They never say this in the movie. I'm remembering things again.
Okay.
After the last Hunger Games ended, so the end of the previous movie, Katniss has been having a bad time because she participated in the child death games, and it turns out that's pretty traumatizing.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But her and PETA are about to go on the victory tour, where they go to all the other districts and talk about how cool it is that they won the Hunger Games. And they're nervous about it because they have to keep pretending to be in love, because that was their whole big winning move. And then to make it even worse, they have to pretend to be in love, and also Gail, Liam Hemsworth, her pal from back home, gives her a big kiss and is like, "I love you, Katniss. I want to do more kisses on you." And she's like, "I don't know how I feel about that, Gail." And he's like, "Well, don't worry. You don't really have to think about it for the rest of the movie." Then she comes home and President Coriolanus Snow is hanging out in her house, her big fancy new house that she gets to live in as a Hunger Games winner with her family. And he's there to be like, "Hey, listen, your thing was an act of defiance against the Capitol, and I think they should have let you die, but it's too late now. So you have to put on a good enough performance to convince people that you did the whole thing because you love PETA and not because you don't like us. And if you don't do that, I'm going to kill everybody you love." And she's like, "Uh-oh." So that makes her even more nervous about the whole thing. But her and PETA are like, "Okay, we got to do this." And she's like trying to avoid PETA, probably because she feels weird about the whole pretending to be madly in love with him thing. But then on the victory tour, they reconcile and they start being friends again. They give a big speech in District 11, where they give an impromptu speech instead of the prepared remarks, where they pay tribute to Thresh and Rue, the District 11 tributes. So heartfelt and stirring that it inspires an old man from the crowd to do a little revolutionary hand signal and whistle at them, and that makes the riot cops who are attending the event beat him to death. And then
shoot him right before the screen closes, so you can't see it, but
yes,
probably
precisely.
gets shot there.
Almost certainly. So they're upset about that, and they decide to just stick to the script and really play to what President Snow told her that he wants. PETA proposes to her, and they're all like, "Oh, we're gonna have a big wedding. Oh, it's so great." But when they're finally leaving their big wrap-up party at the Capitol, she gets a look back at President Snow, gives him a firm shake of the head. Wasn't good enough. So President Snow then conspires with his new game master for the next Hunger Games, Plutarch Heavensbee.
Oh,
one of, I think, the best names in this franchise.
Sure. I like the Plutarch and I like the Kevinsby.
Plutarch.
So it's Plutarch Kevinsby?
Heavensbee, like the place you go when you die.
Oh, I thought it was Plutarch Kevinsby. Okay, never mind. I don't like it anymore. I liked it before when Kevin was part of it.
Don't like it anymore?
I liked it when it had the secret name Kevin in there, but now that it has the word heaven, I'm like, that's not as cool.
I like it because it's like the Applesby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, love the Applesby.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, he conspires with Plutarch Heavensbee, our very own Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
To be like, we've got to quell this rebellion. And Plutarch Heavensbee is like, be even more draconian, and also show everything about the wedding so she seems frivolous. And Snow's like, that's genius. So they start doing that. There's a Gale, Liam Hemsworth, gets whipped in the streets for being like, you shouldn't punish people for no reason. Katniss almost gets killed trying to defend him, but Haymitch diffuses the situation. And they're all like, "Oh no, oh geez, things are really bad, Rick." And then the new Hunger Games gets announced. It's the Quarterquell. Every 25 years, the Hunger Games has a super special secret twist. And the twist this year is that the tributes, instead of being selected randomly from the population, are selected randomly from each district's previous winners. The only living winners in District 12 are Katniss, PETA, and Haymitch. So Katniss has to go, and then either Haymitch or PETA. PETA and Katniss are both very upset about this, and both try to get Haymitch to make sure that the other one lives. Although PETA's much quicker about it because he's a nice boy.
He's a nice boy.
Unfortunately, there's not much they can do. Katniss gets drawn as the only name. Haymitch gets drawn, but then PETA volunteers in his place. So they're off to more Hunger Games with a bunch of other people who have won before. So we have a bunch of montages of them doing a little bit more training and meeting all the new people like Finnick O'Dare, who's very handsome and doesn't wear a shirt. Or BT and YRS, who are weirdos who know technology. Yeah. And one of them's Jeffrey Wright. That's fun.
That's right.
Joanna Mason, who's mad and also gets naked in an elevator.
Oh my God, I forgot about her.
Yeah. And they all, like, in their little speeches right before the Hunger Games, try to give reasons why Hunger Games shouldn't happen. Where BT's like, I invent lots of cool things, and it would be a shame if I died and didn't get to invent cool things for the Capitol. And Joanna's like, fuck all of you. I hate you.
Yeah, I really think she messed it up. I think we might have had it if it wasn't for that. President Snow seems to take things way too personally.
PETA pulls out the biggest bombshell by falsely claiming that Katniss is pregnant.
Hell yeah.
Which really does really rile even the Capitol audience up, but doesn't work. Games still go on. They try to form some alliances, although it's hampered by the fact that Katniss is very cold, personally. And Cinna made her dress, like first it was a wedding dress for the interview, but then it set on fire and became a Mockingjay dress. Whoa. And for that crime, Cinna is beat to death as Katniss is sent to the games that she has to watch. It's very brutal. Anyway, the games start and a bunch of stuff happens, but Finnick turns out Haymitch has made sure that Finnick has allied with them. So Finnick and the old woman that he's partnered with help them survive for a little while. The old woman dies in a poison cloud. It's very sad. They fight some big mandrills. And then they meet up with BT, YRS, and Joanna, who are also on their side. They do some more fights. YRS dies. And then BT is like, I have a plan to electrocute everyone else to death. So they go off to do that. But they get attacked by the remaining tributes who are the careers who are really trying to win, unlike them who just want to live. And they get separated. Katniss and Joanna go off on their own. Joanna seemingly betrays Katniss and stabs her and then runs away. Katniss can't find PETA, but she finds BT wounded with the lightning wire not finished. And Finnick shows up and she's going to kill him, and President Snow is horny for that. But then she doesn't. And they still work together, and Katniss uses the wire that's about to get struck by lightning. She fires it with her arrow up into the force field surrounding the dome, destroying a part of the dome and allowing a ship to come in and snatch her up and fly away from the Capitol. She wakes up on that ship to discover that a secret conspiracy between Haymitch, Plutarch Heavensby, and Finnick, as well as all the other tributes who were helping her, rescued her and are whisking her off to District 13 so she can be part of the rebellion against the Capitol, and that's where the movie ends. Oh, but they didn't save PETA, and Katniss is very upset about this. And when she wakes up from being sedated, Gale informs her that in retaliation, the Capitol bombed District 12 into oblivion. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, good job, Diggins.
Hooray.
I think it was good you lost because you're so good at these.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of me losing, Nando, as our winner, you get to tell us what you thought about the movie first.
Yeah. So again, I've seen two of these. By now I've seen all of them. I watched a couple of them this weekend. They're this week. The other two, obviously. But going into this one, having seen and liked the first one, I was like, why don't people like these? Because I liked that first one. One of these must be bad. Which one is it? When do these get bad? And I was kind of like, oh, maybe this one's kind of silly and like they don't really do. Maybe they get really into the love triangle thing or something, or maybe the Hunger Games isn't that fun to watch. So I was kind of maybe my not expectation, but a possibility that I was considering. And I'll tell you this: this is also not the bad one. This is probably the best one, I would say. The case could be made because it does all the things that I didn't like in the Hunger Game is better because it's more interesting and less stupid and random. And
there's monkeys in it.
Yeah, it's like a thing. It's like a kind of interesting thing. I do think that we kind of fly through it a little too quickly. But it's a pretty long movie, so I get it. But I also thought all the stuff in the beginning was pretty compelling. All the stuff with them doing the interview and trying to get out of it. And I liked all the new characters. I think what's his name is great. Finnick O'Shea is what I call him, but that's not his real name. It's something else. What is it?
Finnick
O'Dare. Yeah. He just did some of these guys, I don't know what cultures we're supposed to be going for, but it does feel like a lot of these are Ireland. A lot of the names like Katniss Everdeen. I'm like, I could see a person like that name existing in the real world. But yeah, so he's great. Philip Seymour Hoffman's something. Jeffrey Wright's weird. I like him. I think that's most of the new ones. Oh, and the woman, the one who gets naked and is really upset at everyone constantly. She's fun. Yeah, overall, I think this movie's pretty good. Also, it's the best one because it's the one I believe. I don't think this was in the first one. If it was too brief. Introduces the cat as the main player in the Hunger Gamesaverse, and I really appreciated that because cats are good. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Hunger Games Catching Fire. I think it's definitely the best of the two so far. What about you, Diggins? What do you think of Hunger Games Catching Fire?
So I still haven't seen those last two movies because I like to keep my opinions nice and fresh for the people because I care about our podcast audience, but that's just me.
Yeah, you do.
But and I'd never seen these movies before, so this is my first time watching this one. And I, like Nando, was pleasantly surprised last week when I watched that movie and was like, oh, this is actually quite good. I like I said, like I've mentioned several times now, I read the books and enjoyed them, but that was 10 years ago. And I think some of the state of movies in this vein since then had perhaps lowered my expectations. But not only was that movie pretty good, this movie's also pretty good. I agree with Nando. It's I think it loses some of those cinematographic touches that I liked last time about drawing that distinction between the capital and the games and the outer districts. But despite losing that visual flair that I enjoyed, I think they still keep it pretty visually interesting. All things considered, I think there's the set and production design in these movies are really good for when they need in both ways of that. In the flashy way where you have the capital and all the crazy dresses and hairstyles and whatnot and everything's supposed to look impressive and expensive, etc. But then also in the more in the Hunger Games or in the districts when things are supposed to be grungier and more rundown, I think they do a good job of evoking that sense in a very it's in a very over the top, almost silly kind of way, but I think that fits the mood of these movies. But I'm mostly impressed by, again, just how much this movie is about the dystopia part of it and not about the teen or romance parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where it is all so focused on just how grotesque and horrible this whole edifice is, and is very clear and focused on the idea of this whole thing exists because the capital is an oppressive society that is trying to manufacture fear against the other districts. And also, it is a deeply traumatizing event to participate in. And I think, I don't know, it's a level of seriousness and grimness that I wasn't expecting, but I think it's handled well. And just overall, and I mean, J-Law is great at like she keeps a very flat affect as Katniss is kind of a numbed person at this point, but it's not unexpressive or unemotive, which I think is a tricky needle to thread, and I think it's to her credit that she does it. And then also, yeah, like Nando said, the just having the other winners as like the participants in the game now instead of just like other random kids. I think they're just bigger personalities. They're more fun to spend time with. Joanna and Finnick are great additions. So just yeah, it's a good movie. I had a really good time with it. I will say the first time I read it, the very cliffhanger ending of it did jar me a little. I was a little like that's where this book ends. So I don't know if it's just because I was ready for it or if I'm just older and wiser now, but that really didn't bother me this time. I felt like, yeah, we got to a point that makes sense, like thematically, story wise, to like build to the end of this plot wise. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I like this movie. But 2 for 2 so far on the Hunger Games front. Good for this series. What about you, DJ? What did you think?
I'm trying to figure out how to zag, but it's tough because I do think this. So one of my complaints about last movie, I was like, too much Hunger Games, not enough capital stuff, and they legitimately did fix that in like a good way. So I'm like, well, I can't have that critique now because they did fix that, and like the characters are like that we're supposed to care about are like fleshed out enough where it's like, oh, I understand what's going on here. I like there's a lot of nitpicky stuff which we'll get into, which is like fine. It's like we're still in the teen novel, aspects where like some of it's silly. Like the fact that like the Hunger Games is still a game between like the good guys and the bad guys is like funny. Like you never have to grapple with like the fact that the participants in it like yes, it's child murder, but like the children who are being murdered are like comically evil, and it's like it's fine, and they're not even children in this one. So well, they're
That's
not all
true.
children, so it's like a nice little bonus that the evil ones are adults, so it's even less morally ambiguous that we get to kill evil adults. Who cares? But like all that being said, like those like tiny critiques aside, it is like a good movie. I have heard that this kind of falls off a cliff at some point, and I'm guessing it comes in the fact that like the next movie doesn't feature a Hunger Games. I mean, I'm guessing, and kind of what I know, like it's good that this movie still had a Hunger Games, because if it didn't, it would have been bad. But because it had a Hunger Games, it was good. So it's
because DJ is part of the violent masses that needs to have their thirst for blood placated. Otherwise, he can't, enjoy the thing.
Exactly. Even though maybe I said last week the Hunger Games were unwatchable. Well, that's not exactly what I said. I feel misrepresented by that, but it's fine. So yeah, like I think the my different nuanced take is that it's a good movie with a lot of flaws, but I don't think you could expect more, especially when the first movie is like really, really, really good. Like, is this movie better than the first one? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because the first movie is just so much more straightforward. But there's still both like good quality movies that have some flaws, but like ultimately don't ruin it. So how's that for some fucking nuance?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think this movie, like, yeah, it is more interesting to me. I can see the argument that the first one is just a better, like a tighter movie, because this does it ends on a cliffhanger, and like Dickens said, it's a cliffhanger that makes sense as the end of this movie, but it also is like a tease of the next movie and stuff, and that's kind of unsatisfying. I will say, now when we talk about it, not everybody said all the things they like. This does remind me of the one thing I don't like about these movies, besides the fact that the cat's only in that one scene, is this idea that like we spent all this time in the Capitol, right? And like it's interesting. The Capitol is interesting. And we spent all this time in the Hunger Games. We don't spend any time in District 12, just like doing District 12 stuff.
Right.
And I do feel like the end of this movie doesn't really hit for me as much, because it's like, what did we lose? That one town square where we all gathered for Hunger Games, and that field where there were deer. But like, I do think it feels like this is the third movie in a trilogy, or like in a series, where the first movie, or maybe a movie between then and now, really focused on home life and like what the Capitol is and what that means compared to all these other districts. Because yeah, compared to like other similar things, and like other districts, which we'll see a little bit more of, by the time you start getting into like end game stuff, you're not really in like districts anymore. And when characters get sad about missing their district, it just I feel like there's one specific thing, can't remember what it is, that I remember seeing and going, you guys had that in your district? Like, I didn't think you were at that level, and it makes me just wish we saw more of it.
Right.
But yeah, I bet that's probably more pronounced in the book. And this movie has a lot of budget, and you could tell like that first one made a lot of money,
right,
and then they were reinvested in it. But I do feel like it went mostly into Hunger Games stuff and Capital stuff, which fair. What did you guys have a favorite character in this besides Jennifer Lawrence again? But like, who's your second favorite character?
I think for me, I find Fennec interesting. Like,
not interesting enough to know his name.
Wait, that's not his name?
Finnick.
You're close, yeah.
God. Finnick. What are we doing? But yeah, I liked him as a character because there's we're right, full spoiler, duh. You know, when it's like, oh, I'm part of the resistance.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, right. It's like the whole time, remember who the real enemy is. And I have a lot of gripes with that, by the way, the whole resistance thingy. I think there's some issues there. But like, I do think he is an.
You think that people should obey the Capitol, that they're a benevolent organization?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Nobody should be rebelling against.
Obviously. You don't think it's fair that they withhold their labor from the Capitol, considering all the security the Capitol brings to them? They're not grateful.
Yeah. That's DJ's problem.
That is my problem.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you guys? Who's your guys' second favorite character?
I mean, for me, I think it does. I feel like I'm stealing this from Nando, which is why I'm butting in now. It's got to be Joanna Mason, Jenna Malone's character, because she, I think, she's a fun character because she's just kind of like, she's both angry, which is fun in its own way, but also, you know, she's having some fun with it. You know, she does the whole get naked to make Katniss uncomfortable thing, which is a fun scene. Her like blowing up during her interview is fun. And just generally, like, when she's there, she seems the most over everything that's happening while still being a helpful character.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, just, I feel like that little bit of friction is something that it was nice for the group to have someone who is just kind of a jerk, but also is helping. So it's not like you can just kill her. So I think it was a fun dynamic that added a lot to the parts of the movie she was in.
Yeah, she's an interesting one. I do like her in this. It's another like kind of, what's the word? Like, I don't know if these would have been better as like a series where we got a little bit more time with them, but I do wish there was a little bit more of her just Hunger Games and around.
Yeah,
because I would like to have seen that. Like, once we really get the Hunger Games going, it kind of ends, which is kind of a bummer.
So what Nando is saying is he wants a prequel movie for every single tribute in this movie. Their Hunger Games, the one that they won. We get to see all of them.
Damn right.
Absolutely. I want to see Jack Reacher's Hunger Games, just running around, being big guy. You like to see him in this. Who else was in this? Jeffrey Wright, looking at The Wire, thinking about
electrocuting people to death.
Yeah, electrocuting people. Yeah, that's true. That was cool. I don't remember what any of the other tributes were. I feel like there was the one who shaved her teeth into little knives or something. Like, that was somebody's
that
deal.
Was so stupid.
Yeah, right.
Why is that a thing?
Doing throat bites, MacGruber. Like, what's your plan here? A lot of the rest of you guys are just like really strong, but I don't think you do Hunger Games every other weekend. Like, you're gonna need those teeth. But yeah, that one was fun. I don't know. It was, yeah. I think the best one is still probably, what's his name? Stanley Tucci is still my favorite character in these because he's great. He's fantastic. He's so weird, and it's so good because he's one of the only bad guys that's still bad, right? Like, you have like all the characters that we'll find out are actually secretly helping and stuff,
right.
But like at the end, it's like him, Snow, and a bunch of cops, pretty much just fighting everyone. And I like that. I like that he sticks it out. And I like that he has to try to do these interviews and all the kids are like outsmarting him with their little sob stories. Like, that's pretty fun. Honestly, it's like what they should have been doing last year. Like, where they're pretending one of them's pregnant and stuff like that, man. That is the thing with this one. It does feel like it answered almost all of my complaints about the last one by like making the Hunger Games more of a thing and also having people try different things as part of their strategies to win Hunger Games. It's funny that like they didn't just get a lot of airdrops of like, you know, baby formula. And so I guess you wouldn't have baby formula if she's pregnant, but yeah, nobody gave her anything for that.
Well, Nando, in the book, I mean, I don't know that they give her anything specifically for that, but keep in mind that this whole thing is televised. It is something that continues to get brought up during the Hunger Games, where they sort of play up like, oh, Katniss is pregnant. I don't know if the baby will be okay if she doesn't get blah, 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 to try to play for sympathy and get people to send them stuff.
That's good. This is good things.
That is good things.
I also like the old lady. She's funny. It's an interesting little performance. I can't remember what her name is. Is it like Maul or something? Mags, yeah. Weird character, but fun.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember if this is in this movie. Finnick was dating a previous victor, correct?
It gets like brought up a little bit, but not expanded on much. But yes, the young girl that Mags volunteered so that she wouldn't have to go is Finnick's partner.
Gotcha. Okay, then that's interesting.
All these victors dating each other. I mean, I guess you get common ground, so yeah.
I mean, like I think it makes sense because it's like, who else understands what you went through?
Right. And especially because you're also, well, we'll get to it in future movies, but I guess we get a little bit of it in this movie where Finnick kind of goes at Katniss in the very beginning, and he's like, you would have been able to live in the capital and get whatever you want, jewels and money and stuff. And like, they do catapult themselves up from, you know, like poor little dirt farmer to aristocracy in a way that also has to be really disorienting for people.
Yeah.
And you probably train with them while you're getting ready for your Hunger Games. If you're her, I assume she's younger than him. Well, I don't know, actually. She looks younger than him. So I'm going to assume he Hunger Games first. And then she went after him. So yeah, he probably trained her and helped her. Because these two are the only two, like our two are the only two that have done it together.
Right.
And both survived. So yeah. The meta game of the Hunger Games is kind of fun. I like that.
Yeah.
The Hunger meta games, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Oh, the one thing you didn't mention in the thing, Diggins, is the big twist of the middle of the movie. Not even the middle of the movie. The big twist to like act 2 to 3. That is Wirus's whole deal.
Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't seem super relevant to be brought up here.
No, it doesn't really matter, actually. I feel like the way that it happens in the movie, the characters do that as if they've solved some sort of crazy riddle, but it's like, I don't know. It does that at this, like, wouldn't you time it out anyway? Don't you? I don't know. It's weird. But you know what else is like a clock, you guys? A wheel.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I never would have seen this coming.
Yeah.
With little spokes and stuff.
Actually shocked.
So, I want to talk about this movie and nitpick some things about this movie. I'm going to spin the wheel, and it did land on one of mine, and we'll get rid of this one real quick, but the movie is good now because of the cat. I was wondering this. Is this the only animal we ever see in these that's like a pet?
I think so.
Not even like the rich people. Do they have like little ferrets or something weird like that? Or like toucans?
Or like birds. Birds
I
is
don't
rich people.
Yeah.
Pets.
I don't remember if it ever gets mentioned or not, but if there's pets, I'm sure they're in the capital. I feel like there's like the districts are so comically destitute that like, you can't justify having a pet because that's just another thing to feed.
Yeah, that's true. So it would be in the
problem
capital for sure.
Yeah,
if there was anything like that.
And you figured like if there's some of these districts are like the farming district or whatever, then they would have at least some wildlife that's part of it.
Right.
But I don't know. It's interesting. I like it. It's a very pretty cat, but it's also a cat with a lot of character, you know? They did good casting for this cat.
So that was your actual favorite character, Nando.
Yeah, that was my favorite character. I don't know
is.
its name. I think it's like, it seems like, I think it's another like woodland name. I can't remember.
If there's a cat, Nando loves it. That's just the rules.
I do. Yeah. I do. But I did want to, but so done with that. Let's spin the wheel. It's another one of mine. This one's pretty important. This one's catching accents. What's Philip Seymour Hoffman doing in this movie?
I don't know, man.
What he doesn't have an accent until he does. Every so often, it like slips through. But
that's the capital accent.
It's the Brooklyn capital accent.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like
the strange inconsistency is part of the accent.
Oh, that for sure. Yeah, everybody just picks a random accent and just kind of tries it until.
Honestly, that does sound like a very capital thing, given the way that they're usually described.
It makes sense for me, except for is there a like District Brooklyn? Is that a place that we just never see? Where that accent is originally from, that he has appropriated or something?
Well, I said last time, this is America. This is a post-America, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe one of the districts is Brooklyn.
Nice. That one should probably win the Hunger Games a lot of the time, you know? Is there Brooklyn tough, baby? Throw things at the Green Goblin and everything. But wait, is he from the capital? I can't remember. Plutarch?
Well, he must be if he's a game master.
Plutarch. Well, but like, I could see him have come up from nothing or something by being such a genius and then weaseling his way into the capital. Seems like one of those characters.
Right. I mean, I guess.
I believe that he is from the capital, although I don't know this for certain.
He's interesting in this, though. Did you guys like him?
I don't know. I think he's supposed to be going for that like mysterious, just kind of generic evil guy thing, which I think is fine. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of cop out on this one. I don't like have a strong opinion on Mr. Seymour Hoffman in this one.
I think he's decent. Like his whole thing is being the sort of like mastermind, like, here's how we manipulate everyone into submitting to your will. Yeah. And then the ending twist is, oh, actually he was deliberately giving Snow bad advice because he was really working for the Resistance. And I think the way he plays that is kind of fun, but I also think that we don't get enough of him for that to fully land. So I don't know. I think it's good, but it's not like one of the most memorable parts of the movie.
Yeah, I more or less liked him in this role. But I do think his accent's pretty silly, and he's just he's kind of too interesting for this universe, or like too real of a person for this universe.
Right? Yeah.
Compared to like the rest of the cartoon characters in the Capitol. Because like if you look at him and you look at like Elfie or whatever her name is, they're both Effie. Yeah, so they're both kind of the same guy, or like they're both more, good guys, capital good guys, that, are not friends with our heroes until they are. But like, yeah, she's like super weird, and he's like kind of just some guy. I don't know. Philip Seymour Hoffman, he's a good actor. It's a bummer he's not in more of these, but also, I don't know.
Yeah, how come Philip Seymour Hoffman doesn't make many movies anymore?
He did this and he was like, no more. Peace out.
Like, this is my masterpiece. I don't need to do anything else.
Yep. No one has checked on him since. But yeah, he's interesting. He's definitely better at this than the other guy, than Seneca Crane. Which, man, Seneca Crane really fucking goes through the ringer in this movie.
Yeah, really. It's like kick a guy while he's down. My God.
Yeah.
I will say though, in terms of Dickens's point that the whole plan is to just give bad advice. That bad advice does involve the deaths of a lot of people. Like I'd give that one a not great. In terms of execution.
Well, DJ, perhaps later in this series, the themes about the hard choices that get made in the course of a revolution like this, and the difficulty of maintaining one's humanity when fighting against the inhumanity of others. Maybe that'll be some sort of theme in this series come next book.
Oh, interesting.
Who could say?
Interesting.
And also, I wouldn't say most of the deaths that he is involved in this movie are not deaths that would have happened without him. Like, it's not like he was like, yo, Snow, you know what we should do is a Hunger Games. That'd be sick. Like, all that stuff was happening already. The revolution stuff seemed to be happening whether he wanted it to or not. So I feel like he's kind of one of those like net negative or like net zero new Plutarch deaths.
Yeah, no,
if anything, like he got like 4 people out of the Hunger Games. That's incredible.
Right. Yeah.
It's never happened before.
Like that I get. It is just funny that, I mean, it provides for like the nice little twist, right? Where it's like, yeah, like up those fucking beatings. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, I guess he gets a lot of people flogged. That happens, but yeah, it's a risky play, I would say, at best. Especially when Katniss almost gets shot during the flogging.
Yeah, that's
pretty
not
bad.
Great. That's definitely not great, right? We can agree.
Now, I think we'll eventually learn that Plutarch is just kind of he's one of those characters that always has a plan. But if you're like, but what if this happens? You know, that character would just be like, it was actually what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Guys. This was the plan all along. And it's like, no, it wasn't, Plutarch. Get real.
Katniss getting shot, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. I knew she would get shot. That was my plan. I don't know. He's cool in this. I think what's his name is insane in these movies. The more I watch Donald Sutherland in these, the more I'm like, how is he not? This is like a Tim Curry character that for some reason Donald Sutherland is doing. Like, so weird.
I do like him though. He's really. Do you know why he got cast?
Why?
Because he looked a lot like the sexy hunk who's going to play him, and this year's one of those. No, I don't know. Why did he get cast?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He like read the script when it was floating around Hollywood and like loved the character so much he sent an essay to the director about like, here's all the like, here's what Coriolanus Snow, what's going through his head, what his motivations are, what drives him to do the things he does, like full on analysis of everything because he was so excited about playing the character.
Wow.
And when they got it, they were like, I mean, he gets it.
Yeah, will you work for scale, Donald? Because these are gonna start paying, but maybe not immediately. But
that is interesting.
I like it if his whole thought was that he was actually the hero. Like if he was like, that whole article was just how President Snow was right and they should have done more Hunger Games. And we should do real Hunger Games in real life. Maybe he likes that. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's cool. I liked him in this.
I do think he is good. Yeah, it's like, to be fair, like I think he's good.
It's very unlike any other Donald Sutherland performance I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen him in enough things that I kind of know what he does now, at least at this point in his life, and it's not this.
Yeah.
But that's fun. What else is cool about this movie? Stuff in the beginning, because that's like kind of where he shows up. You know what I liked? I liked all the stuff they were doing on TV, where they would go outside and then the weird little cameras would follow them and stuff. That was like, yeah, that is what this would look like.
Yeah.
Film it in the dark under a big spotlight. It would be really awkward, and then it would end, and you go, ugh, all right, let's go back to sleep.
Yeah, I really liked how they emphasized how like weird and alienating it was for them. On their end of it.
Yeah, it's weird to be in this whole thing. Like, being a victor seems weird.
Yeah, it does.
But, you know, for a lot of reasons, but also just for the living in a weird little townhouse next to nobody. That part of it's a little weird.
Yeah, and you get money, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, what are you going to buy? Like, more cats, I guess? Yeah. Cat food?
That's how you get cats.
Yeah, that's how you get cats. Well, now, actually, I think the Hunger Games are something we can think about. I'm voting for myself next time we do a quarter quill.
Nano just wants a damn cat.
I do. I want 50 cats. They're like, you can't do another Hunger Games. I'm like, I have so much room in this house. I just need more money to feed all these cats.
Oh my God, Nando. I looked up what the map of Pan Am is. And you know where, well, not all of America exists in this world because of, I think, flooding and nuclear war and stuff. But, you know, if a Brooklyn still exists, what district it would be in?
Oh, I want to say the 11.
13, where they're going.
Oh. So it all adds up.
I don't know about that. Although I guess that, yeah.
Maybe he is a Brooklynite.
Maybe he is. Although No, I'm guessing it's like Brooklyn and the Northeast in general, kind of.
I mean, really, it's more like Pennsylvania and northwestern New York because the rest of that part of America's gone.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah. They do seem like that now that I think about it. Like some of the other characters we meet from there have that, like, yeah.
Well, District 12 is like Appalachia, West Virginia kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking more, what do they call it? Like that kind of northeastern, like, not like Bostonian accent, but that mid-Atlantic thing. Kind of from Julianne Moore, I guess, mostly. But we'll get to her eventually. I don't know. She doesn't show up in this, right? They don't even, like, look at her picture.
Julianne Moore? No, she's not in this one.
Yeah. What else is good about the beginning? Anything else we liked in the beginning?
I think that's it.
I liked that J-Law mostly looked confused when Liam Hemsworth kissed her.
Yeah. That was funny. You know what else I liked? I like that they make everybody stand in front of the big picture of your dead relative from last week's Hunger Games when they do the speech. Right. That was cool. Like, do you think they get that coverage like they right before they do a Hunger Games? Just stare at this camera blankly for 20 minutes, okay? Don't worry. Absolutely. This is going to be important, maybe, or not. Well,
now they just make it with AI.
I was going to say, yeah, they could do all kinds of bullshit AI in this universe. I don't see why not. So, yeah, they might just fake it. Yeah, that was fun. This is another movie, another one of these where, and we talked about this a little bit last time, but the district that gets savagely beaten and like gets punished a lot is the largely black district. They just can't catch a break in these. Yeah. I don't think there's too much else before we actually get to the Capitol. I do want to. I spun the wheel. It landed on one of DJ's, I think, and this, I think this is one of DJ's. This is "They're Holding Hands. I Want Them Dead."
I think that's Diggins.
Oh, that's Diggins. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
So that's a real line spoken aloud by a person in this movie.
Oh, really? I don't remember that line either. Does Snow say it? I assume
Snow says it. So this is at the end of all the interviews.
Yeah.
When they're talking about when everyone's given their like, maybe there shouldn't be a Hunger Games because I invent cool things, or because Katniss is pregnant, or because fuck you.
Yeah. She's really mad at us, you guys, and we don't want her. We want her to think we're cool. You can stay home from Hunger Games, Jenna Malone. You're all right.
So at the end of that, they do one final gesture of defiance where all the tributes hold hands and like hold them up to be like, we're together in this. And that also makes people upset. And when he sees it, President Snow just like leans forward and is like, "They're holding hands. I want them dead."
It does say that.
And it's a good line.
Which is funny, removed from its context.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is also a good place to talk about those interviews in general and all the silly little tactics everyone pulls to try and not get killed.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think about it. So we got Jack Reacher and his girl go first. And they're like, "We love being in the Capitol so much. We love you guys. You're like our family. It would be sucky if your family died in the Hunger Games, right?" That's like strategy one. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm not surprised it fails. Who goes next? Is BT next?
I think BT is next because he's District 3.
Right. I think this is definitely the most convincing argument. Like, even if I'm President Snow, I'm like, maybe I actually don't do the Hunger Games with him.
Maybe I'll let someone else do it.
But you can't let any of the arguments win because then you lose as a dictator, right?
I mean,
well, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
what you do is the Hunger Games have been postponed due to technical difficulties. That's what you say. And just let the masses conspiracy theory.
All the dumb animal mutants we made are behind schedule.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We need some more time with the vats.
Yeah. We can't get the wave to go down. It goes up, and that's not right. We need the wave to go down into the center. So,
the gas isn't, the poison gas isn't leaving boils. It's disintegrating entire body parts, and that's a bit too much for our tastes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's really going to ruin these Hunger Games. We can't get just the right amount of spin on that weird little whirlpool in the middle. We're really trying to increase this up so we can get it up to 80 miles an hour or something. Optimal spin for a whirlpool.
I will say, with regards to the Hunger Games, I don't think there was enough in the control room this time. There was a good amount of control room last movie, not enough control room this movie.
For me, I don't think there's ever going to be enough control room for like make the baboons happen button guy. Like there's no unless there's a bunch of people with levers operating individual baboons. I don't buy it.
Just give it.
So wait, Nando, are you saying you don't want a scene in this movie where Philip Seymour Hoffman turns dramatically to the camera and says, "Release the baboons"?
Actually, yeah, that'd be pretty good. And
wouldn't
then
it?
The guy's like, "How many baboons?" He's like, "All of them." He's like, "That's too many." So it's like, "Fuck you, we're doing Hunger Games." Yeah.
To all you biologists or zoologists out there, I see you, I hear you. They do look a lot more like mandrills than baboons.
It's true. They are. I mean, they probably have some silly name, right? They're probably like jumper biters or something.
I don't think those ones are ever given a silly name.
Oh,
interesting.
They gotta have them in the book though, right? Like, or do you think they're just called baboons in the book?
I don't remember what they're called.
I'm gonna say it's it's both of them together. So like man booms. No, that doesn't work.
They just call them monkey mutts because they're mutations like all the other mutts.
Right. Yeah. I think I don't know. If you were not trying to go to a Hunger Games, what's your strategy? What do you say to Caesar Flickerman during the interview after he stops laughing?
What's my argument? Assuming I'm me in this scenario?
Yeah, assuming you're a victor, you've won before, so you're kind of popular. Like you're at the level that like you're not quite Katniss, but you're also not like you're like a Finnick or something.
All right. What I'd say is, listen, we had a deal where I win a Hunger Games. I get to live the rest of my life in peace and luxury, right?
Yeah.
You know what that means? I have been training for shit since the day I won that game. No one on this earth is going to be more boring to watch in one of these than I am.
That's a good one.
I am one of the only people on this earth who has spent years of his life safe in the knowledge that he will not be Hunger Gamesing. And so I have let myself go completely.
That's really
I will probably die in the first few seconds because I'm just not used to doing this bullshit anymore.
I think that's really good.
And I think Caesar Flickerman would say, that's a great point. What about the 90-year-old woman standing next to you? I think she also probably isn't in super good tip-top Hunger Game shape.
You're right, Caesar
so we don't really care.
This argument doesn't just apply to me. It applies to everybody here. Thank you for proving my point,
want to watch
Caesar.
this old lady get burnt or whatever in poison gas. We're doing it no matter what. What about you, DJ? What's your Hunger Games argument?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I would say, listen, everyone out there. Now, am I me in this scenario?
You're also Finnick or whatever. I don't know. You can be Joanna if you want, but you're not the main ones. And you're also not the super geniuses.
Okay.
You're not the BTs.
Or the YRSs.
Or the YRSs, yeah.
All right. Here's what I would say. I would say, hey, everyone, listen. I know you're really excited for a Hunger Games, but here's the problem. All of us, we're just like you now. We're rich a-holes who don't give a damn, and we've just kind of given up. Honestly, I've had a good 20 some odd years. You know, I got to live pretty rich for the last few years. You know what? If I Hunger Games, I'm just gonna, there's no more berries, but I feel pretty good. I think I would just get a sword and either impale myself, maybe I'll drown myself, maybe I'll run headfirst into fire or poison gas, because I don't care anymore. I'm just all about apathy. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna go there, but I won't give you the satisfaction of someone lobbing my head off. No, I'm gonna impale myself, and also I'm gonna do it in a way you can't see it. I'm gonna go underwater behind a tree with no camera, or I'll go into the gas because you won't see me die. You'll just see me run into gas. Is that what you want? You want to see me run into gas? So that's what I say, you idiots. This just I'm gonna make it not fun for you out of spite because I'm not scared anymore, and I got to taste the sweet nectar of being rich, and I'm good. I had my fill.
See, I think that's a good argument, except you didn't notice the crowd has been chanting gas, 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 gas the whole time. They're actually really excited for this you walking into the gas thing.
But then I run off onto the stage and say, hey, have you all considered the optics of you all chanting gas, considering the whole genocidal nature of this project in the first place? And then they're like, ooh, are we the Nazis? And then it starts to turn.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know. I don't think there's a way out of this besides just I'm pretty sure one of the women here is pregnant. That's like a really good strategy.
It's so good.
Like, it's almost kind of insane that he doesn't discuss that with her. Unless he comes up with it in the moment, but it seems like it's like his plan. It seems like a lot of the plans in this like aren't communicated to Katniss. Sometimes it seems like it's because she can't know, but other times it's like to make it exciting for us, the audience. And I'm like, you guys should probably let Katniss know this is what the game is.
Yeah.
In case she says I'm not pregnant during her interview because she goes first or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like,
so is there a little baby we should be expecting? Oh, Caesar, stop it.
No, Peeta and I have not had sex. We sleep in separate bedrooms. You want to come out and corroborate that, Peter? No? Okay. I didn't think so.
And then Caesar Flickerman would be like, who's this Peter you're talking about? I don't know any Peter.
It's a cooler name because it's normal and not weird.
Peter.
Yeah. He's a clever little one. I do feel like that's what you would do every year, though. You'd be like, oh, sorry, I can't Hunger Games. I'm actually pregnant this year. Be like, I don't think boys can get pregnant. Like, no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They did weird science. You know how they made those dogs show up out of the ground? Male and me. So that's what it is.
Weird
that's what we're doing.
Science, that movie where those two sexless nerds use a computer to invent a woman?
I've never seen this movie. I've seen the poster for it. Is it like super gross? It feels like it must be super gross.
I've never seen it. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm so curious because I actually saw something about this the other day and it reminded me that this movie exists. But yeah, like I feel like you just lie. I don't know. Is there anything people in our universe would actually buy as an excuse to not do Hunger Games? How do we get out of things we don't want to do in this universe? Yeah.
I've been on way too much Ozempic and I'm too frail to Hunger Games. It would just be terrible.
I just want to be responsible with the Hunger Games budget, and I just don't think we can afford a Hunger Games this year.
Ooh, that's really good. Oh yeah, we're too much
fiscal cliff. Yeah, we're getting pretty close, you guys.
I would go to all the capital investors who invest in the Hunger Games, and I'll be like, guys, when you think about it, putting on these Hunger Games eats up a lot of valuable money that could be spent on stock buybacks.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do think, yeah. Well, we'll get to it, but I do think you could start selling ads on the Hunger Games or something to maybe make a little scratch back on this thing because it is like a big event, right?
I wanted to say, I found that there were indeed for this movie. We couldn't corroborate for the last movie. But there definitely were for this one advertising campaigns.
Nice, yeah, baby. Undermine the message of the movie with capitalism. That's what we'd like to see.
Yeah, for example, Subway had one.
Oh,
that was like,
is it like this is something you can also eat if you want to perform a ritual suicide on TV? This 6-inch meatball marinara.
No, it was something like the meal of a champion or something.
Oh my god. As if the Hunger Games are a real cool thing, you know?
Yeah, right.
Something to be expected to like. Oh my god, that's awesome. That'd be so the only mistake is that they didn't work it into the movie. Like have her just walk into one of the scenes eating a $5 footlong. Gotta bulk up, K-Mitch. There's extra peppers on it too. People love those. Yeah, I feel like the only problem is it would make an even sadder class of people underneath the District 12s is like the subway workers. So then you'd be like, maybe these guys should revolt. They deserve to take the capital this time.
There was also like a makeup company that had a whole line based on Katniss, who famously like only wears makeup in her like Capitol interviews and hates it.
Yep, that's awesome. Oh, I love it. Did they actually make the vomit juice or something too? Maybe this is part of Subway's deal, because actually they might have that already. But yeah, they like really didn't get it. But also, people probably bought it. I bet people would have bought
definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe not the Subway, but the makeup for sure. I feel like that's the kind of tie-in that would really make some money.
The best thing about that is that this movie contains a scene that's like showing why that whole concept is horrifying. Where you have the little girl who goes up to Katniss and is like, when I'm older, I want to volunteer just like you. So and it's like, oh no.
Mm-hmm. And Katniss should have been like, well, when you do, make sure you're wearing these Reebok Airs. Yeah. They're the new hot shoe all over the Capitol, you guys. Get in this Hyundai Sonata and we'll drive over to the Hunger Games right now. All right, spin the wheel again, you guys. Now we're in the Hunger Games part.
Whoa. Yeah. That's the name of the movie.
Although I do want to, someone, you know what? The one that I spun it on, that's the one that it is, says the ones we didn't feel like making a backstory for.
This was me.
There were some of these, weren't there?
Yeah.
There always are.
What I think is interesting.
Well, what? Are we going to go and sit through 22 people? Come on.
Well, okay. I would just say, so I guess a little bit prior. So sorry. One thing I forgot to mention pre-Hunger Games, then we can totally get off it. So Haymitch is giving Peeta and Katniss like the brief, and this is kind of what I was alluding to, where it's like, here's all the previous guys, and it's like we get like 6 of them, and then just like no one else, right? Just the ones
Shark Teeth Girl, Jack Reacher,
Smart One,
Finnick, Camouflage Babies, right. Whatever their names are, I can't remember, and then
and everyone else question mark, right? One thing I thought was funny was Haymitch is like, all right, this game isn't going to be like the last one you played. This one's different. This time you have to make friends, whatever. And I'm thinking, how the fuck do you know? This game's never been played before. They've never done it like this. There are no rules. Also, no one knows anything.
And this would have been a great thing to try last games.
Yes.
Haymitch. Like, it seems like this would be a strategy you would do every single time. Why'd you just invent the concept of friendship and like allies and stuff?
Yeah, and Haymitch, stop acting like this is like, we know exactly what's going on. Haymitch has to go in, guys, it's fucked. We like, this is no rules, man. You just gotta go in, bite necks like Shark Teeth Girl. Like, wild.
If anything, I feel like for Haymitch, it's like, he does make it kind of more dramatic, and I get it. There's some real killers out here, but also it's like, yeah, we also have like an old lady, so like not everybody. This is not a best and brightest situation the way you kind of expect.
And don't forget the two whose winning strategy was pretend to be dead until everyone else is dead.
Yeah. I hope that'll fool the monkeys and stuff. I don't know. Like they really have not. It does feel like there is some sort of kind of scaling of the power games that like their power or their of the Hunger Games where like their Hunger Games took place in like a warehouse with like some foliage and stuff, and now it takes place on like a big CGI rotating landmass split into 12 thingies, and each one of them has a magic like plague that happens in it. And yeah, these guys are, it's amazing they made it this far.
Agreed.
That actually has one of the things that's on the wheel here, but I was gonna kind of save it for when it happens in the movie. But do you remember his introduction for Finnick in this bit?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Like, I don't remember word for word, but...
Wasn't it basically like, and here's the sexy boy you all want to fuck?
I mean, for sure. He does say that after... I mean, that'd be really funny if, like, and Peter, you're going to want to fuck this one, but don't. I know the way you've been looking at some of these men and women.
You can't, because he's a real wife guy.
Yeah, he really is a wife guy. Oh, my God, yeah. The wife guys, yeah, they're like the heroes of this. But no, his distinction is, and this is why I thought it was so stupid. It's like, this is Finnick. He's deadly, especially in the water. Like he's a fucking Pokemon or something.
Yeah, right? That was
also
weird.
We never see that happen. He goes in the water, but doesn't kill anybody in it.
Yeah.
He just has a trident, like from cartoons. Like he has like the water weapon you would get, and is able to toss it at guys, but he doesn't kill anybody in the water. I imagine that means he's generally a strong swimmer, but I'm going to assume all the other athletes here are.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, it's like, yeah, this one's bite and this one's chomp. They can't swim, so they're probably not going to make it through the first minute or two. Just throw rocks at them until they fall into the water, assuming it's a water thing. But we should know that by now, right? Shouldn't we? At least I should. So maybe I should be giving you more specific hints. Yeah, the Finnick water one was really silly. I think the BT one is kind of dumb, but it's not his dumb thing happens later. The knife teeth girl is really funny because it's just so insane.
But then we get no one else. Like, so here's a question that I had that I don't know, just something to consider. What if a district had no victors?
Great question, because you'd assume if this didn't happen last year, we wouldn't have a girl from District 12.
Well,
right.
It is implied by something that Mr. Heavensby says that this wasn't actually something that got set down 75 years ago. They deliberately engineered this to get Katniss and Peeta.
Wait. So wait, the 75 years, I thought it just meant that every 25 years it had to be different.
Yeah, every 25 years you do a silly one.
Yeah.
This is one of the silly Hunger Games.
It's a little less clear in the movie than in the books, but the idea is that when they first made the Hunger Games, they had specialized rules for every 25 years. Like they sealed envelopes at the time of like year 25, we're gonna do it this way. Year 50, we're gonna do it this way. So in theory, year 7, like it's 75 years ago, they wrote down year 75, it's all previous winners. But it is pretty heavily implied that whatever was written 75 years ago, it wasn't that. Right. And they chose this to get Katniss and Peeta. So the answer to your question is they would have done something else then.
Okay.
If it was like that.
How?
Well, even if it's not like that, what about, for District like 7 or something, like they all have had living victors that have made it this long. Seems pretty hard to believe.
Yeah, like and there are 12 chariots that go out. I counted just to make sure. So it seems that every district has people, and it's like I just don't know if that's how that would have played out, especially when 2 of the districts are professional murderers, as we covered last time. So I assume like District 5, they just might not have any victors or might not have a female victor. I just see.
Well, DJ, you're wrong.
Okay.
I guess
that's fair. I have a follow-up to the thing you said about the envelopes. How far did they go?
Right, yeah.
Did they write down to year 500? Did they go that deep?
This is the one where they all have to do it on their knees. They can't use their feet, and they have to hop everywhere. This is the hopping one. The 800th quarter quell. You have to do one where they can't speak in no pronouns and letters that begin with E. How about that? That's our Hunger Games this year.
I don't recall if a number is ever given.
Okay. Just interesting.
It would be funny if that was on the envelope and they opened it and they were like, well, we only got it's only 1 and 2, so we can't do this. Like, yeah. I don't know why they thought this would work. They just rip it up. Although you could just have all the 1s and 2s fight each other. That'd be pretty fun.
It would.
Like an all-star games, real, all the best ones. Because, the fact that we're throwing in the old lady is, it's not a good Hunger Games. It's not our best and brightest.
But then, some people love to watch the old lady die.
That's true.
I guess, if that's what you're into.
She's a very nice lady. But, Haymitch is a bad judge of character in general, so maybe she sucks. Yeah. I do like I like that as I think her character is fun as a weakness for Finnick, besides just being out of the water, I guess would be his other weakness. But he really wants this old lady to not die somehow.
He said he's deadly in the water because actually he's out of the water. He's very undeadly.
Yeah.
He flops around like a fish whenever he's not in the water.
Do you guys remember, speaking of Finnick, After they do Hunger Games stuff for a little bit and go back to the beach to like have a strategy session and also just wait for a little bit. You remember what he's doing during that?
Oh, I don't.
I don't either.
Because like I don't remember what everybody else is doing. I think like BT is like talking to someone or flying around with this coil or whatever. We look at Finnick and he's just flicking around his like trident, like that kid in the lightsaber video from the internet, you know, like just doing like little trident maneuvers. But like in like a kind of like dramatic way because he's so upset about losing the old lady. I'm just gonna fucking trident it out on the sea. This is what I do for fun. He's he was a pretty cool character until that moment for me. I was like, ooh, this guy's kind of a little weirdo.
I feel like you can't win a Hunger Games without being a little weirdo, though.
I would be so fair. Oh my god, yeah. Like every minute of the Hunger Games, I'd just be like, I gotta walk cooler than I'm walking usually because I'm on Hunger Games. Just gonna make fun of me when I get out of Hunger Games if I survive. They're all gonna be like, "Here's your victor," and they're all just gonna mime me walking silly at that time I tripped in Hunger Games. Damn it, can't win here. All right, I spun the wheel again. Landed on one of DJ's Justice for Cinna, I think, or Diggins.
That was me.
That's okay. DJ. Oh, you're not doing a great job on these this time, Nando.
No, I spun it around, you know, to make it more exciting for myself.
Right? Yep.
Like a clock.
Yeah, it's spun like a clock, like they famously do.
TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Cinna, our lovely boy, which by the way, I'm so dense, guys. Guys, did you know how dense I am? I'm such a moron.
You didn't realize this was Lenny Kravitz this whole time.
No, not that. What happened was I'm watching the first movies next to Michelle the whole time. And every time Cinna comes on the screen, Michelle just goes, "Oh, Cinna." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." She like really likes him. And then I like realize I'm like, "Wait a minute. Is this guy going to die?" And then like Michelle just like gets like real quiet. It's like, and then, you know, it happens on screen and I'm like, oh man, I like should have picked up on that way earlier. And here's the thing, guys. I just, man, you don't think that these, just why kill him? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
To fuck with her. That's the whole. You love fucking with her. It's all Snow seems to care about for some reason.
Is that a way to fuck with her? I don't.
Well, there is that. There is also now, DJ. This was pretty subtle, so you might have missed it. I wouldn't be surprised. But so in an earlier scene, he had designed a dress that literally burned the thing that Snow specifically asked for, and as it burned away, revealed the symbol of the rebellion that is seeking to kill him. And so that might have made Snow a little miffed.
You know, that's fair, but I mean,
again, it was very subtle when that happened on screen. It was basically in the background when that happened, so I understand why you missed it.
Listen.
Yeah. The one thing that actually caught fire in this movie, DJ had his like phone out for, and he missed it when it actually caught fire. When the Mockingjay caught fire, it's like, I don't think this is important.
It just feels like if you keep doing these things, that's gonna piss off people in the rebellion. Then that's bad. Like I think Snow had the dictator.
I don't think Cinna was like, this is gonna work out for me real good. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get promoted after this by President Snow's act of defiance.
I just like. He had it in the previous movie where he's like, you must have a light touch. If you just keep killing them, then it'll be really bad. In this movie, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to kill all of them. I think that's the secret.
Yeah, I mean, what's his name's telling him to, right? Like I assume part of it is Plutarch just giving him bad advice, but also he's just really like, he's not good at this. He's kind of backed into a corner and he's fumbling with his rebellion,
I guess.
Also, the problem is that they've now reached the point where the people have too much hope, and he's trying to put the genie back in the bottle.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sad they killed Lenny Kravitz. Right? He's dead. Like, he's dead.
They killed him as dead as his daughter's TV show, which I liked.
I did like that show too. But maybe they'll get another show. Maybe she'll get a Catwoman show after the Penguin show. Ooh. So and maybe she'll open a record store in that show too, and then we'll keep going. Just keep the franchise alive. Yeah, she's or he's in this, but not anymore. He's dead. It is. I do think that is a cool scene where he gets beaten in front of her and stuff, and she's in the little tube. It's better than the last time where they just I don't know. It's just very dramatic. They fixed a bunch of the problems of the Hunger Games, and the start is exciting instead of boring.
Yeah.
What if you couldn't swim? What if you were like a Victor who couldn't swim? You'd be so
dead.
fucked.
No
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You'd feel like you'd hope that Plutarch would be like not designing parts of the game that you specifically cannot do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But also, like, can the old lady swim? I guess she can.
Or at least she can get to Finnick in time for him to swim her over.
Yeah. What do you think her deal? Like, okay, so clearly she did not think she was going to win the Hunger Games.
Right.
I imagine she didn't.
I buy it too.
And she wouldn't have wanted to, even if she could have. Why stick around then? Is my question with her.
I mean, I think there's enough of a will to live there where it's like you don't want to just kill yourself.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Pretty much at the first opportunity where she became a burden to them, she gave it up.
Yeah.
But I understand not wanting to die before that.
Yeah. Like you're going as long as you can. So. Yeah.
I guess.
Nana's like she should have walked into another combatant first second she could have.
Maybe
right into a sword.
That would have been handy. It would have been a pretty cool way to go instead of just burn to death in a big cloud or whatever. Because, everybody has to try to save you and it's a whole big deal. And what if instead of everybody just slightly outrunning the big smoke, they didn't? And then you feel real guilty, wouldn't you, in heaven or whatever? Mock or...
in Heavens Be.
Heavens Be, that's right. Yeah, that's weird. What else is cool? I don't know. Anything else from the beginning of the game? PETA kills the guy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Good for him.
Considering he's a weak little boy.
Apparently not. Apparently he's dangerous in the water too. Yeah.
Because he can throw 100-pound sacks of flour over his head.
He's not willing to kill his fellow children competitors, but he will kill his fellow adult competitors who are evil.
I wouldn't have any problem doing that. I think if I'd be bummed, especially when we all held hands and I have to kill him. Mm-hmm. But this makes it so much more doable, morally speaking.
Yeah, I get it.
Especially if you know them and you're like, that guy fucking keeps cutting me off in the contestant victory buffet every day. I hope I get to hit him over the head with a big rock.
I'm so mad at them.
But they're the only people on the entire earth who can relate to the thing you went through.
Yeah. But one of them sharpens her teeth for fun. Nobody's hanging out with her going, you guys remember that Hunger Games?
I think I'd be okay with killing that one.
Yeah.
The other ones, though, I'd feel pretty bad.
Her and Jack Reacher seem like they're trouble. That bald guy who's not Vin Diesel, but for a second I was like, Vin Diesel. He's trouble. And then I feel like there's another woman, the blonde woman, is probably also trouble. Those four I would not have too much difficulty with.
Wait, was that guy the guy who plays young Vin Diesel in Fast 9? Because now I'm thinking about it, he looked a lot like him.
No, well, maybe. That'd be so funny. Because then, Jack Reacher is the new bad guy in the Fast movies. He's the secret bad guy that was just off screen in these. So that would be so interesting. It's kind of a fake sidequel where those two competed in Hunger Games a long time ago. But
no, it's not him.
Nah, yeah, I was convinced. Just in one shot. But yeah, let's talk about, because I spun the wheel again. It landed on one of mine that's also one of your guys's as well. I can't remember which one.
Not even venturing a guess anymore.
Not even going to try. Yep. It's poison gas, but for mine it was, what is this plan? What are we doing here, Plutarch, with the poison gas?
So this was mine as well. So yeah, first of all, I think from the whole I would be upset as a viewer if I just see a person go into gas and die. Like, I think I've been cheated out of an experience if that's how I see one of the contestants go.
I would have a conspiracy that they're not dead. I'd be like, yeah, they wanted to get them out of the Capitol and they're like hiding in the middle of the fucking woods or something.
That shit would be everywhere.
Yeah, right?
Fucking everywhere.
And spoiler alert, that character does not heroically come in with like Elvis and, although secretly thought dead characters in the finale, although she should.
But yeah, so and I'm with you, Nando. Like, what is Plutarch's plan? It's like, I'm gonna release gas, and it'll like, Katniss nearly dies, and she is not supposed to. The whole time, you're my mission, Katniss. However, part of that was, when you fell down the hill and got to the invisible barrier that let you through, but not the gas, I was like, woof, that was a close one.
Especially because next time there's an invisible barrier you can't go through.
Yeah.
Like, she gets stuck in the bird dimension, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing with these barriers then? It's like this weird Shields in Guardians of the Galaxy where the blue ones do one thing and the yellow ones do another thing. And it's like, God. I'm not paying enough attention to understand this. But, yeah, like, and you figure, because what we'll learn, and I think this makes sense when I explain it to her on the Quinjet or whatever. They're like, we can't have told you the plan because Snow is really keeping an eye on you because he's a weirdo and he's obsessed with you. So you couldn't have known, but we all did know. And it's like, well, did none of you like ask Philip Seymour Hoffman which one would probably be the best slice to hide in?
Right, exactly.
And if you didn't, did you at least memorize which ones were which so that you would know not to fall asleep in the poison gas one? Like, come on. Also, you didn't have a strategy for dealing with the monkeys either. Like,
yeah, you just luckily got out of that one. And like, there's like the little things in there where it's like, oh, one of the Heidi ones like sacrifices themselves because some of the fucking tributes were in on it because I don't know, you got to die as part of this resistance. Like, sure, that is a thing sometimes, but also, just to focus on Plutarch because I don't think this guy, is totally gets how it is to be a good double agent. When the big thing happens and Katniss basically destroys the dome with her cool little lightning trick shot, which we'll talk about, the first thing that President Snow says is, Plutarch, where is Plutarch? And he is nowhere to be found, in which case President Snow needs to be like, oh, I guess like he's bad.
Yeah.
Like, I can't trust him. Or he dies next because like that's how this shit goes. I don't know, man.
Well, DJ, that happens at the end of the movie when Plutarch is fleeing the Capitol. So presumably that would have happened if he wasn't at that moment fleeing the Capitol.
So Plutarch is just not he did all his double agent work that he
he's fully on the Resistance now. Like, he's not going back to Capitol.
Well, wasn't he not fully on the Resistance the whole time?
Well, secretly.
But now he's like done being a double agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine. All right.
But I still think even if I'm president, so I'm watching this thing, I'm going, why is there wire in the fucking big old pile of weapons? This seems like it's part of something. Did you give one of them wire for purposes? And then you figure it out. You go, oh yeah, these two are working with this one, and these guys keep talking about something that no one's able to say. Oh, this is a rebellion. Yeah.
Well, BT's whole thing, that like his kill in his Hunger Games was that he electrocuted people. So if I was to know, I'd be like, oh, that's so he can do more sick electrocutions. Okay,
that's
that makes
fair.
sense.
And that is what they pretend to do. And like, it's a good, that part of the strategy makes sense. I do think just like, I don't know. It feels like Plutarch, like I was saying, is one of those characters where no matter what happens, he would pretend that's actually what he wanted. But I don't
100%.
think his plan was to fucking hit Katniss on the head with a big spinning rock as she's flying off the center at 1,000,000 miles an hour and drown. I just don't think that was part of the plan when he just spun the thing around for no reason.
Well, like any good plan has some improvisation in it.
That would be such great improvisation though. Like, just I need something to get everybody away from each other. Let's do merry-go-round. Wait, but she's on the end of it. We'll see what happens. It'll probably be okay. She can swim, right? I don't know. I really want to use this big spinning thing, and it seems like we're almost done. So let's do a spin.
Yeah.
Like, what happens if not even like just the baboons eat them? Because obviously they all almost get killed by the baboons. Or the gas, because the gas is pretty bizarre. It doesn't seem like you can survive the wave. Like,
oh no, you're dead. Just like that is it.
Yeah, you have maybe 10 seconds at best to climb a tree if you could see it coming, and even then, you really can't because we see it from far away and we don't know what's happening until it gets all the way to there.
Yeah.
The blood rain, I feel like, also seems pretty rough.
I don't know about fate. Well, I guess because you get
Blood Rain is not a very good movie. Yeah,
that's
definitely something I hope that the viewers don't pick.
That has Jeremy Irons in it, I think, or Ben Kingsley, or some respected actor, slumming it, getting that cash, but
getting that paper.
Yeah, nothing but respect. Yeah. What are the other? Do you guys remember any of the other wheel slices? On the clock slices, I guess.
Oh,
I was going to say, I thought you had them written down.
Gas. So it's gas, baboons, birds,
lightning, gas, baboons, blood rain, tidal wave, jabberjays.
Yeah. Wait, is lightning one of them?
Lightning's one of them. Yeah, lightning's the midnight and noon one.
Oh my god! So that's where you should go. That's the safe one. Just don't hide under that big electricity tree. And there's no other hazards. Right? Like,
I mean, we don't really see how widespread the lightning is there.
Yeah, that's true. I do think if I were going to the All-Star game of Hunger Games, if I was expecting to watch it, I would be really bummed when all the contestants are killed by the clock pieces that they're, like, living near, you know? You get maybe like 5 or 6 kills in the beginning, and everybody goes to sleep, and then they all get drowned or something. It's not a very good Hunger Games.
Give me my money back, damn it.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the weird little clock moment?
Like, where they figured out it was a clock, or where the clock spun?
Figured out it was a clock.
Like, that was fine. I will say, I think the clock, like mechanic for the game is kind of dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
I did not find it hugely impressive.
It doesn't like matter. Like it matters in that it's split into 12s, but it's not like there's a strategy associated with it. It's just like, well, there's a lightning strike at one point. We got to watch out for that. But like,
I was gonna say, it does help them plan the whole lightning thing.
Yeah, sure. And but like, even without all the clock stuff, you'd recognize like, oh, this is happening every 24 hours. Okay, so we wait until tomorrow and we do it then. Like all the rest of this, like which district or like which zone should we be in thing, there's nothing to figure out. It's just like, hope you're not in one of the ones that immediately kills you, and then hope when everything gets shuffled around, you're not in that one again.
I mean, more from a game design perspective, I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, maybe,
for sure.
Maybe that's part of Plutarch's plan to make a specifically bad game, but yeah, I don't find it to be like a very compelling design.
Maybe, because we never get this from him, so I don't think this is true. But maybe President Snow just loves clocks. He's just a big clock guy. And Plutarch knew if he wanted to pitch a Hunger Games that was going to get made, he was like, I guess it's got to be clock themed or something. That's his favorite.
So, Nando, it's funny you should say that, because actually something that is in the books that is not present here is that Plutarch is a big clock guy.
Yes, I've heard this. And I remembered this. I remembered hearing this, and I was waiting for this to happen in the movie, and then it didn't. I was like, did I imagine that? But yeah, what is the story with that?
He just like has a whole like clock thing going on. He has whole lots of clocks. And also a moment that shows Katniss is not an extremely aware person is in that, and that's the dance scene where he like dances with her and is like, I think maybe the Capitol's bad, and she's like, I don't know what to do with that information.
Yeah.
In addition to that conversation, he also in the book shows her his watch.
Right, yeah.
Has like a Mockingjay symbol on it, and like the clock hands are arranged in such a way that they look like the flapping wings of a Mockingjay. And she looks at it and is like, that probably doesn't mean anything.
I love that.
I mean, yeah, and to be fair, like by the time we get to the part where she has to do something, like do the electricity arrow thing, multiple characters have been like, that wasn't the plan. We weren't supposed to do that. Never mind, Katniss. And she has no curiosity. She's not like, wait, what do you mean? She's just like, I guess they had some plan. I don't know. I just like, hope I can just shoot everybody with arrows, because that was my whole thing going into this. And I got the bow and arrow, so probably gonna keep riding that train until the end.
By the way, they improved the bow and arrows this movie. They took my note retroactively.
They look like real bows and arrows, kind of.
So glad someone saw that and been like, we gotta fix this.
Mm-hmm. They fixed a lot of things. Again, I think Seneca Crane was just pretty bad at this. I spun the wheel again, landed on one of DJ's, maybe Diggins', I don't know, we'll find out. Incompetent Dictators.
I think this one was mine.
Okay.
I think we already covered this, and you guys, I guess, kind of corrected me on this, but it's like, are we being...
Gotta let you know what a dumb dingus you are.
Are we being too mean to the people in order for them to rise up? Sure, it's part of Plutarch's plan, but I just feel like Snow should know better. Like, he really... Like he obliterates... At the end of the movie, he's obliterated District 12. District 12 is no longer. How is that effective?
Well, DJ, at that point, the rebellion has started.
Yeah.
Like, cat's out of the bag. It's no more time for carrot. It's all stick, baby.
All right.
I do think it maybe doesn't super work if they're the coal district. Is that which they produce? Like,
yeah, they are the coal.
I guess we have a couple of things. Like, there's like a hydroelectric dam and probably some other ways to power the capital. But it's like, maybe shoot them all or something. But you probably want to keep that coal mine intact. It's so hard to make those.
Well, because they're all the laborers too. To that point, Nando, you need the laborers.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, it's a skilled thing. Well, I don't know. Maybe you could just make some out of the ground, like the dogs. You know, just have somebody
laborers?
type the word coal workers, and then they just rise up and go do coal work.
I guess.
I don't know. Maybe the technology in this movie doesn't make any sense.
That's true. It is all basically magic.
It's all over the place. Yeah. And like, I'm not complaining in like it doesn't make sense like that category, but it does just feel like I don't see why they don't just make the dogs do it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other cool stuff that happens during the Hunger Games parts, because we're pretty much at the end. Not really too much. There's the camouflage guy, which is pretty funny. That guy dies.
Do you remember what they call those guys?
Yes, they're the Morphlings. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, which, like, I guess, man, I don't know. I feel like I would be so bummed if they were in the Hunger Games in this year and they won. You know, like if I'm a viewer.
Was everyone so pissed the year that they did win? Like, I can't.
It's probably fun once. You know, like you like seeing the strategy.
But the thing is, there's two of them, which means it worked twice.
Yeah, that's true, actually. You know what? Maybe it becomes like a meme where you get all the guys pumping up the crowd with their big muscles and stuff, and then the Morphlings come out, and everybody's like, yeah, fucking Morphlings! Cover yourself in black and hide in a tree! And then you get really into it. Put that boot on! Everybody could dress up as a Morphling for Halloween and just hide in a tree or something. It would be a big, like, I think it would be a big deal. It would be like the Barbenheimer of that universe would be double Morphling year. How can they kill each other if they can't find each other? Who's gonna win?
It's like you guys have
the perfect strategy.
How happy I am.
It's the first Hunger Games that lasts until the next Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Well, also we get another movie where they do like one or two little thingies that help, and they give him a water spout thingy to give fresh water from the tree. This is from Hey Mitch or Hey Mitch's friend or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that is directly given to the main characters. Which, like, that would suck if they didn't get that. They'd all die from not having water. But then, do the Morphlings get those? Or do they just, like, you know, really fill up on water before the Hunger Games and then just hold it?
They're getting all their water from the mud.
They absorb it through their skin. Blood. Like a frog or whatever.
Hey, here's a question about those little thingies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, it's really weird that you can run into the barrier and die. That seems like bullshit.
Well, Nando, wasn't that your point last time that it's like, oh, I want something to bring them together, like a battle royale video game, whatever.
100%, but it needs to be something they can't just accidentally bump into and explode. Like, they have to be able to see it, because, like, Peter almost dies because he's just going in a direction that like seems to be more like it's like, oh, I guess there's a forest up there. And instead of slicing what everything else before him, I assume was like a vine, he just slices into a wall with a vine drawn on it, I guess, or something.
Right.
And like almost dies. It's like everybody, that would happen to like half of them in the first 10 minutes. And they'd be like, well, fuck, I guess maybe we should have just put like Nerf on the wall instead or something. Like, it doesn't need to kill them, but I guess it does.
Fun fact, Nando, that, which was revealed in this book, but not in this movie, that is how Haymitch won his Hunger Games.
Oh.
Wait, he waited for everybody else to try to climb the wall and explode? Or...
No, the last two people were him and some other guy, and he like basically did like a bullfighter thing.
Oh.
That guy charged him, he dived out of the way, and that guy ran into the force field and died.
That's like some fucking Bugs Bunny shit. That's pretty cool. Bugs Bunny would be sweet at the Hunger Games.
Oh, he'd be so good.
Yeah. He'd be like, where's Bugs Bunny? All I see is this pretty lady in a dress. Do you know where Bugs Bunny went, pretty lady? Trying to kill him for a Hunger Games. There's only 2 more things on the wheel. To spin the wheel. One of them is, I'm going to say DJs. I'm wrong about so many. Let's say Thunderstruck. Is this DJ?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the ending.
So Diggins explained it in his explainer, but so Katniss is able to, and I don't know when she formulates this plan. It seems like in real time. This is something that should have been at least at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, there's like a wink and a nod to Katniss figured out something to make this happen, not just happenstance. The lightning is about to strike the tree. She is near it. She takes the copper wire that was part of a murder plan, but instead ties it to an arrow and shoots lightning as it is coming down.
Well, but
DJ, the murder plan was fake. This is what they wanted to do the whole time.
Is that explained?
Well, the way I read it was that DT or whatever his name was going to try to do that with a stick. Like, and that's what he ended up getting electrocuted, was he was going to try to break out of it using the electricity from the tree. But when that didn't work, they came up with this other idea. But yeah, it's definitely, the whole thing was a ploy. It was that was not the plan.
And we knew it was a ploy.
I mean,
by the
end. Does anyone say out loud that whole plan was fake and actually we want to do this thing? No. But this movie, unlike many movies these days, so again, I understand your confusion, trusts a reader or trusts a viewer to use their brain and their eyes to look at events that happen and be like, oh, that's what was going on.
But there should have been something.
I'm with DJ. I want a Saw 2 style, like bathed in green series of flashbacks where all the characters shake hands and have a little board with all the things connecting them and the plan. And then we have some grungy music play over it. That would have been actually pretty cool.
I don't know.
I feel like when they showed up in the jet all hanging out, you were like, oh, okay, this was some sort of... Haymitch just tells her, it's like, we had a plan. You couldn't be in on it, but just assume everything was the plan. Well, yeah, because the plan really gets fucked if they actually kill those other 3 guys. Then they all just have to stand around with their hands in their pockets waiting for midnight again. Like, President Snow's just like, they're not killing each other. Something's up. Send the monkeys.
Not wrong.
Go get them. Like, just make the clock spin around again. But
how did Katniss figure out, like, I need to shoot an arrow to make a cool fucking thing happen? I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. I guess.
Well, DJ, again, I understand if you might have missed this. There's a technique that some movies use called foreshadowing. I don't know if you recall, but before the Hunger Games even started, in the training sequence, when Katniss goes up to talk to BT and YRS, BT goes, you can see when that there's a force field there because of this certain image. And notice how like things are flickering because force fields take a lot of power. And so they can be overloaded because of all the power they use. And you're like, I wonder if that information will be used later.
I do think in universe, Katniss would be like, okay, whatever you say. And then Peeta would be like, what did they tell you? And she'd be like, I don't know. They talked about the force field or something. And Peeta would be like, you should check with them. Again, it seems like they had some important information.
If I may just throw one last thing on, Katniss would have fucking died. That's all. Well,
yeah.
She would have died.
I mean, sure.
The amount of time it would take to both fire the arrow but not get electrocuted by it is pretty. I mean, she does almost die, to be fair. Like she takes a big hit. And Finnick almost dies too. It's that much of a big explosion. But
it is quite the explosion.
And the other guy's like paralyzed by it. But that's why, like, I feel like the plan was originally that guy was just going to use the pole to just chip at the thing until it exploded, and then use the electricity part of it. But that just didn't work.
Yeah.
Which is like a bummer because, like, he could have been the hero of this whole thing. But instead, his little wire thing didn't work.
Damn.
But, yeah. Wait, does that mean Maul or not Maul? Jesus, what's the one? Not the old lady. The other BT's friend.
YRS.
Was YRS not in on it?
I think she was.
Then why is the clock thing something she tells everybody? Don't they all know that?
Well, I don't think they did know that. I think they didn't know exactly what the game was going to be like.
Oh.
I have to imagine there's only so much information Plutarch Heavensby could smuggle to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Classic Plutarch, by the way.
That's fair. He's very cryptic. He's only wanting to talk about his watches and using the words time and stuff a lot. Speaking of the end of the movie, spin the wheel. Last thing, Zack Snyder's Hunger Games. This one's Diggins, I think.
It is. You're right. So after she blows a hole in the force field and the corpse collecting hover car comes to get her out of there, we're treated to a very, again, DJ may have missed this because it was a very subtle shot. Where it collects her and her arms are draped out to her sides, and there's a light coming from up because it is suddenly sunny, which, to be fair, is because the sun is shining outside, and the fact that it was night inside was completely artificial.
Right.
So that part does make sense. But so there's a light behind her head, her arms splayed out as she rises slowly into the air, and I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of imagery that's supposed to evoke, but I couldn't think of anything. Do you guys know?
I mean, it's kind of like what a bird looks like, you know? So there's that.
Oh, that's a great point, Nando.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like Rise
They haven't had
Phoenix?
any birds in this movie so far, but yeah, if they did, that would actually be a good way to reinforce it.
Yeah, okay. That might be it.
Oh, yeah. Do you think she's Dark Phoenix in that?
Yeah, I think she's Dark Phoenix. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, after the third movie, you gotta do Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point?
That's what everybody wants.
Yeah. She, yeah, it's weird because it's like that moment's pretty bizarre. Also, that claw, how does it get you?
It just does a little scoop.
And that scoop's gotta cut your arm off or something. Like it's
not a clean scoop.
It doesn't have a little tiny fingers. It's like a big dump truck.
Well, normally it's collecting corpses, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, also this whole plan. I do think like if I'm Plutarch and I'm watching this all unfold at the end, I see her like kind of figure out like, oh, she has to use the electricity. She's going to fire a lightning at the wall. And then she aims it at the ceiling above her. I'm like, no, don't do that. And then she like almost gets crushed by a million pieces of debris. It's like, why did you do that last part, Katniss? And she's just really dramatic, you know?
You love to see it.
She's pretty cool. Pretty holy and stuff.
I mean, all the kids loved doing the bows, right? They were all about it.
This was very popular around that time.
Hold on, you said something about it was pretty holy, and let's bring something to mind. Like I said, there was some sort of imagery this was like.
Right, like there's a hole because she got like shot or stabbed or something like that, like in her body.
Yeah. I'm thinking of
cheese, like cheese.
Yeah, like cheese. Yeah. That's it. It's just like cheese.
Yummy cheeses.
Cheese.
Yeah.
And like the cheese that all of us like to enjoy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The we all love cheese. Us loves cheese.
That's right.
Yeah, we do. I don't know why you're being so weird about it, DJ.
I'm actually, are there any of those in this movie? Any characters whose names are like religious, like nail on the heads? I can't think of any. You know, like nobody's named like, you know, Ezekiel or anything.
I mean, are we counting Plutarch Heavensby?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we are in your version of it. Mine, it's Kevinsby, so it's not as on the nose. Yeah. What's her mom's name? I can't remember. She's Katniss. Sister's Primrose, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure in the movie we ever get a name for her. I'm not sure we ever. Kareen?
Okay.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. She's not, I wouldn't peg her for a Kareen, but if you say so, you know, everybody's got different names in the 12s. It's a culture I'm not super familiar with.
Yeah, don't name shame, Nando. My gosh.
I'm not name shame. I'm just saying, like, you know, sometimes you see someone and you're like, that is a Katniss, 100%. Like, and sometimes you see him and you're like, wow, you know, Anus or whatever the President Snow's name is. Like, did not picture you for a guy whose name ended with anus, but more power to you, buddy. You really made something of yourself. Any other thoughts about this movie?
I assume based on several things that it's all downhill from here, unfortunately. So,
in some ways, there's definitely. I do think this is my favorite out of all of them.
Yeah, but, I get that.
Yeah, I think Jennifer Lawrence is very good in it. I think most of the people that need to be good in it are good in it.
Right.
I think Josh Hutcherson, the main, you know, hero of Rocktober or whatever, is okay in this one. He's getting better.
Yeah, I liked him a little more in this one.
But it's hard to fight, like, you know, for screen time against like Finnick and some of these other, you know, Jeffrey Wright and very, very charismatic actors. I'm not super familiar with the Finnick guy. I feel his name's like, is it Sam something?
It's like Sam Collinfall or something.
Yeah.
It's something hard to pronounce.
Sam Claflin. There we go. Yeah, he's from that show Daisy Jones and the Six. I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah. Is it woke? Is this one more woke, or can it even be more woke?
Is this one woke? Well, again, it is, as I said last time, about the people from the Heartland rising up against the heartless elites, the craven people with their crazy makeup and hair and their libertine values.
Yeah.
Trying to oppress the innocent coal miners.
That's true. We do see a lot more of how, like, let's say how they dress and act in the Capitol, characterized in a couple specific ways that I don't think we get as much of in the last movie. Honestly, in the last movie, you might be like, is this just Caesar Flickerman? Is he just that popular that everyone's like him? But now I'm like, no, this is what they all just do during the day. It's pretty weird that they do this in this movie. That's kind of the decision. Like, I get it, but it's just a little strange. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this one can be that much more woke.
I agree. Nando, I have another question.
Yeah.
Now, would you win this style of Hunger Games?
I would like to believe
all the previous winners,
because you would have won the last one, right?
Yeah, if I won one of these, then I've definitely got some skill that would make me valuable for recruitment into the resistance. I'd hope that, hey, Mitch and those guys would be like, I think Nando's cool. We could probably tell him about whatever parts of the plan we actually know and which other ones we have to improvise. But yeah, I'd like to believe that whatever I did got me in. I hope that they're not like, that's the one that just climbed the tree, right? Yeah, we probably shouldn't bother with him. Seems like a chatterbox. I think he's got a podcast or something, so he'll probably just tell people.
How do you think it would feel if you were one of the other tributes and you learned there was a grand conspiracy to escape and start a rebellion and none of them approached you? And you're like, what? I don't like them either.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, I mean, I guess as long as you're not the one with the sharpened teeth, you'd be like, I thought we were all being cool with the hand thing. Like, we all held hands And then you guys all decided, they had to kill me. All right, whatever. I'm like, I'd be a little bummed. I mean, I'd be bummed when I'm not included in anything, even something I have no business being included in. So definitely the resistance I'd be really upset at. But maybe I'd like the capital. Like maybe I'd be one of those people that goes to those parties and like eats lots of food and throws up and stuff. And it's like, guys, this is it. We made it. Just like an episode of Entourage at the end of every one, just drinking champagne at the top of the Capitol. We run this Capitol, you guys. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, that's what it would be. Hey, they'd be talking about it. You like Finnick would be like, I met Nando and he's a pretty cool guy. And then Heyman should be like, nah, he likes Entourage. So
yeah.
No way.
Like, yeah, getting if we're out of options, but yeah, I mean, I also don't think I don't think I'd pose much of a threat. I think I'd get eaten by baboons in this one.
Ooh.
I don't think I'd survive the first clock tick or whatever we're calling it. Like, there's just no way. This Hunger Games, like, you have to already know what this stuff is to survive.
Yeah.
And like, I understand going into the jungle because that's smart. The way they describe it, especially if we know there's like a barrier so you can have your back up against it. But also, like, it definitely seems like the center is the safest part of this thing. And like, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've survived this one, which is a bummer. But
how long do you think it would take you to figure out the clock thing?
I mean, I'd figure it out, but then I'd be like, I think I'd figure it out after the first time lightning strikes something 12 times in a row. I'd be like, is that a clock thing? And then I'd look down because we're all up in our little hideouts now. And I go, oh, right, this is a clock. And then I go, so wait, what does it mean? What do I have to do to survive? How's this going to help me? And I'd never figure it out because there's no trick to it. Just try not to be in the ones that murder you at the times they go off. But like, I don't know what any of those are. So, and it's a lot of energy to run around this thing. So I probably wouldn't just, although if you did keep moving, you could just dodge every hazard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just kept moving clockwise and it takes you less than an hour to get to the next slice, then just nothing would ever happen.
That's pretty good.
You gotta sleep eventually.
The one strategy that no one seems to be employing that I think is pretty helpful, and I don't think there doesn't seem to be a mechanism to stop, is getting someone to send a gift to someone you can't find, you know? They seem to just go wherever you are, whether you want them to or not.
They're probably like tracking. They go to the trackers because everyone's got the trackers in their arms or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm. But then you just kind of spot the parachute, figure out where it's going to land, go into that tree, find the guy and stab him. Like, this is, especially the hiding guys. This is 101. Like, maybe there'd be a rule that you can only buy a thing for someone from your district. Well, no, because that wouldn't work because it'd have to be from the capital. Yeah, I'd have someone just find all the guys for me with the little parachutes. It'd be pretty handy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, I don't think I'm doing super hot in this one.
Okay.
But you guys, you want to get to our classic segment?
Yes.
I would love that.
Let's recommend some stuff to the fine people. DJ, do you have anything to recommend?
Yeah, I have a show to recommend and a game to recommend. So first the show. I'm a little late with this, but it came out I think within like the past month. Are you guys familiar with this little thing on Netflix called Castlevania Nocturne?
I know it exists. I don't watch it. So what is it?
So it's a follow-up to the Castlevania Netflix series, which I was a fan of, and I think I previously wrecked. This is a follow-up insofar it takes place like hundreds of years later during the French Revolution with like a descendant Belmont, Richter Belmont. And
Richter, I hardly know her.
And like so the setting's cool. So the first setting was more of like I mean, I probably am getting this wrong because I don't know these things, but I'm gonna guess like 14th, 15th century vibe. With which was going on in the original Castlevania show. So this one you got 18th century French Revolution. It's it's a different aesthetic, but very good. I love the animation style with these shows. The action scenes are so good. It's that kind of like dark fantasy, so it's like overly gory. It's very macabre, but it kind of makes it like compelling to watch because I think similar to oh god, why can't I Invincible. It's like it's that over gore, but because it's animated, it kind of takes some of like the edge off it. Where it's like it's not as hard as to watch something like The Boys. So I think this kind of falls into that category where someone's like totally disemboweled and you're like, oh my god, that's a lot, but it's animated, so I shave some of the sharp corners off. But yeah, really good. I think if you like the first one, you'd like this one. So not really much more to say about that, except I think you should give it a watch. And if you didn't watch the original,
DJ,
yeah.
Are there any sex pests involved with this one?
Sex pests?
Yeah, people who do sex crimes.
Was there a sex criminal involved with the first one?
Ooh, is this Kevin Spacey's thing? Is this his favorite new thing? Is that he's coming back into it?
We've mentioned this before.
Wait, have we?
This is, I'm definitely talking about this with Nando. This is a Warren Ellis joint.
Oh, okay.
The first season is. He is not on this season.
I did not realize that. Or I didn't remember that.
Right. That fair. So no known sex pests involved in this.
I was gonna say.
This
can't
one
guarantee.
This one, you said it's called Castlevania Nocturne.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was directed by Jared from Subway. Oh no. At least not supposed to let him direct things anymore.
Do you think Jared from Subway was involved with the Hunger Games Subway campaign?
I mean, when did that happen? Like, when did we find out? Because then probably, if we didn't know.
It's right on the bubble there, I feel like.
Yeah, I bet he was. I bet there was some fucking ad where he was like dressed up like a Hunger Games guy holding his big extra Hunger Games pants or something.
He did.
He was the spokesperson until 2015.
So that's a yes.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Ruined this fine Hunger Games for us.
Oh no. Oh. How excited do you think he was about all the children doing battles to the death?
Stop. Moving on. So yeah, check out Castlevania Nocturne. And I'm going to recommend a game. So have you guys ever heard of a game called Betrayal at House on the Hill?
All these games sound the same to me.
Times?
So
no,
yeah,
I've
probably.
never heard of it.
Yes, Diggins. But did you know that there's a third edition of Betrayal at House on the Hill?
Oh, did they finally fix the little nubbins to point out your stats?
They fixed everything. So there was the original Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is a co-op / competitive horror style game where you're kind of Scooby-Doo and crew going through a house, figuring out the mysteries, and then there's someone who betrays the group, and then it becomes like a one versus many style game. And that game was good, but over the years, people found out that there's a lot of flaws in it. Then Avalon Hill, who's the developer, they came out with Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, which was a D&D style game with the same gameplay but themed around D&D. And it made a lot of improvements where it fixed a lot of like the character designs and like Diggins said, like the stats and just kind of the story and the fairness and fixed a lot of those things. So what Avalon Hill did is they're like, hey, let's take Betrayal at House on the Hill, take everything we've learned from Betrayal at Baldur's Gate and make a new edition, and it's great. It's so good. I think it's better than the Baldur's Gate one. It's so much better than its original. They've iterated, and it's also beautiful. Like it's on a board. It's like tiles, so like you're kind of building the house as you go along. So it's always a different style house. The colors really pop. The quality of the components is so good. It's like not to use a cliche, but it's like a joy to play. You feel just like you're Spider-Man. So I really enjoyed playing this game. So if you kind of like this kind of style of horror board game, it's on Amazon. It's like the mid 50s range. Amazon, Target, all those different places. It plays 3 to 6. Probably optimal play count is like in that 4 to 5 range, but definitely works with 6. So you need a group, but it's definitely worth a shot. It's so fun. And the fun thing about the person who betrays the group is that you never know who it is. It's randomly decided every time based on like what happens in the game. So like you just get totally caught off guard with what like the teams then look like in like the one versus many. I just think it's very fun. So yeah, those are my recommendations.
Nice. What about you, Diggins? You got anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. So, I don't know how familiar you all are with a fine little gentleman with a fancy mustache by the name of Hercule Poirot.
Yeah.
The world's greatest detective?
That's right.
Never heard of him. What's he do?
Well, he detects.
Oh, like
Yes.
like landmines, or like does he detect? Like find something?
Murderers usually.
Oh, very good. And this man, he sounds Russian. Is that the name? Where's this guy from?
Belgian. He is Belgian.
Oh, interesting. I actually thought he was French, and that was what the joke was. So never mind.
Well, there are two languages in Belgium, Nando, and those are Dutch and French. So
very good.
He is, I think, a more French Belgian than a Dutch Belgian. Or to put it properly, he's more of a Walloon than a Frisian. But anyway, well, Sir Kenneth Branagh, who I don't know if he's a sir or even British.
Oh, he's got to be, unless he's Irish. Then I don't think you get to be a sir. I think you have to be like a something else. He's definitely Irish, though, right?
I mean, the Irish don't have a monarchy,
so. Right? But you get to be knighted, but you're like something different, because like Bono is this. It's like you don't call him sir. But there's right, a name for it. Yeah.
But he is British and he is a sir, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, he is British? Why did they make that Belfast movie about him? Oh, he's from Northern Ireland. Duh.
He's from Northern Ireland. It's part of Britain.
Yeah, I didn't pay this. I haven't seen the movie, okay? It looked boring. I didn't watch it.
It's not very good, actually. But
yeah, I think you told me it wasn't. I forgot he's from Northern Ireland. Oh, well.
Anyway. Man, it's a good thing it's not the 70s, or we would be getting car bombed.
Hey, man, wait, so now what is Bono? I gotta look this up. Yeah, you become an honorary knight, but what do you call it? Knight Commander. That's what it is. It's a different thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So Kenneth Branagh's done a few of these Hercule Poirot movies. You might remember a little film known as Murder on the Orient Express, and another less good film known as Death on the Nile.
One of the best casts in the history of film. Like, whatever the opposite of the Avengers is, just like some of the weirdest picks. So fun. It's so fun to go back and look at that poster.
Anyway, he's come back for a third time with a little film known as A Haunting in Venice. Which, unlike the other two, it is based on an Agatha Christie story called Halloween Party, but very little of the source material makes it into the movie. It's basically an original story. It basically takes some names and the concept that there is a party on Halloween. But anyway, that's come out, and I gotta say, I think it's the best one of these Kenneth Branagh Poirot movies.
Oh shit!
Really?
Yeah, it's a little more stylish because it's like kind of a horror movie. I would say it's still primarily a mystery, but there's horror elements to it that like allow them to add some stylistic flourishes. There's a lot like more extreme close-up and kind of like disorienting shots to sort of heighten the sense of unease that I think works really well. And the mystery itself, I think, is really compelling, and just overall, I think just is a very good, like, cozy mystery. Just like that classic old style Agatha Christie mystery story. And I had a really good time with it. And Tina Fey is there doing what is either an incredible or a terrible performance.
I'm so terrified.
But either way is fascinating.
You got me. I'm hooked.
It's like so affected and like weird, but also it's like, but that kind of makes sense for this character in a weird way. And also for this genre where you just have a bunch of British and American weirdos in a room and one of them's a murderer.
Right.
So it's like, she stands out, but also it kind of works.
See, those are always tough because I'm like, how much is she supposed to be standing out to me, and how much is she supposed to be standing out to everybody else? Because like,
that's what I'm saying. It's either a great or a terrible performance. I can't tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is tricky. Also, it's got Jamie Dornan from Belfast. He's in this. It does
have Jamie Dornan from Belfast. And a woman who I could have sworn was Kristen Bell, but isn't.
Oh, Get Out! Really? Is that Kelly Riley? I think
the one who
Rowena
plays...
Drake.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, I could see it looking at a picture of her.
And it has Michelle Yeoh, so that's fun.
Oh, nice.
Sure, yeah. She's in all the trailers. I feel like her and Tina Fey are like the face of this movie, and I think
they're the big names. There's not a lot of other like big actors in this, but I think everyone who's there is doing a good job.
They learned the lesson after the last one. Hey, maybe don't round out this cast with your Russell's Brand and such. Probably don't need that many hangers on.
I mean, they had to have known that one was a ticking time bomb.
I know. This is the one mystery Urquell could never solve. Casting that Death on the Nile movie.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not hard to be better than Death on the Nile, but Murder on the Orient Express was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know how much longer it's going to be in theaters, considering it was already on the tail end of its run when I saw it. But hey, if not, then it's probably going to be on streaming soon, and you should check it out.
Yeah, perfect.
Kind of surprised they didn't release this at Halloween. Feels like a good Halloween movie. But I guess there were probably some others, like Saw and stuff, that they thought would be bigger hits.
Probably.
How much would you say, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how much is this like a horror movie?
I'd give it maybe like a 4.
Okay.
It is primarily a mystery, but there is some scenes that are kind of scary.
Okay. I remember
like it wasn't too much for me to handle.
I remember in the trailer a bit where there's somebody looking at a mirror and then there's something behind him or something like that. And that's always like, oof, that's a scary thing sometimes, but I can live with 1 or 2 of those.
I think the horror stuff that is there is generally pretty effective, but it's not a lot of the movie.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Great. What about you, Nando? Do you have anything to recommend?
Sure. Oh, I got so much. I have been watching stuff, still watching Taskmaster, just finished series 6. DJ, have you watched all of it or just some of it? Like all of the whole, or just the new ones?
I've just watched the new ones and then bits of like the old ones.
Okay.
So yeah, I've never gone through an entire series except for like what I'm doing now with series 16. So
series 6 ends with what must be one of the most iconic moments in the show's like history, and it's very fun. Okay. So I just did that. If people know what I'm talking about, then like that's pretty good. But besides that, so watching a lot of that. I started watching some shows for research for video. That are for actors. So I started watching a show called The Other Two. I don't know if we've talked about this before.
Oh, I've never watched it, but I've wanted to. I've heard very interesting things about it.
Yeah, I wish I had seen the pitch. Like, I wish someone had said what it is, because I would have loved this. Like, and I just never made it through my, like, I don't know, like into my ecosystem or whatever. I wasn't familiar with any of the actors, although I just saw one of them. The guy was at the I saw the Ben Schwartz in Radio City, and he did like improv, and one of the guys was from that. He's probably from other things too. But the basic premise for this show is it's about a set of, let's say, 30-something burnout siblings in New York. One of them is a failed actor. One of them is a failed dancer. Failed to the point where like the actor technically is still acting, but like he's not doing as well as he had hoped. And I think the dancer at this point is more or less given up on it, and she's like doing other stuff. And their younger brother, who is I think 12 or 13, is the next Justin Bieber, and he is just like kind of happening and popping off. And they're the other two siblings who have their lives kind of thrown around by this, in terms of it is crazy being in that position, because it's like, oh, we got to go to this thing. And also it makes them feel really inadequate. And it's kind of like, it's got that like girls kind of like, what is it like to be, a millennial who didn't achieve all their dreams and stuff like that. Which I never watched Girls, but I think that's part of it. But this is very funny, and it's like it's great at just being like a pretty silly comedy. It's got a lot of that kind of like Hollywood making fun of Hollywood stuff, so it's always good if you're into that. And then there's a couple of like supporting characters that are pretty weird. Some that like I think if I also knew they were in this would have sold me immediately. Ken Marino plays this Justin Bieber kid's really, really bad agent who is so funny, and I love him in everything. And he's really good in this. And then Josh Segarra, Pug from the She-Hulk show, plays Lance, the sister's ex, who is some sort of really, really, really dumb like guy who's just, sometimes it's really funny to watch a guy play a dumb guy and just go full in on dumb, and he's great at it. And the kid's funny too, to be fair. I think the kid playing Chase is like, he's doing a good Justin Bieber impression. I think the show is just canceled. I think there's only 2 seasons of it, but I'm having a blast with it. Yeah, I'm loving that. There's another show I'm watching, but I think it kind of spoils part of the video, so I'm not going to say what it is, but I will say it in like a week or so. That I love. That is, but yeah, it's, yeah, we'll do that one eventually. Besides that, I don't think I've been playing any games, so like reading anything new. What are we doing next week, you guys? I think I can guess.
Oh,
we're doing
Belfast.
Yep,
Yeah,
Belfast.
we're gonna crack that movie.
No, of course we're doing Journey to the Center of the Earth to continue the Hutch for Red October.
Oh my god, yeah. We got to find out what happens to make Brendan Fraser leave and The Rock stay. What is that plot line? But yeah, it's a good time probably. But no, we'll do Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 and just the one. Some people are asking if we were going to do both in 1 week, but I think there's too much stuff to smush them together. You think so? I do. There's too much stuff to nitpick, especially in the second one. I think we'd fly by that first one. It wouldn't be as fun. And also, the movies decided to do it this way in a move that I don't think was incredibly wise. So, they made this choice, not us. Do you guys have anything you want to plug, DJ?
Just Roses and Rejections, continuing coverage of Golden Bachelor and Love is Blind. So, yeah, definitely.
How's that Golden Bachelor doing?
He's doing great. He's so wholesome. We love Gary. I hope we never found out that he did something terrible at one point in his life. So
yeah, we
should not learn about him in anything he did previously.
Just don't go through his like Facebook albums about Halloween's past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's probably smart. What about you, Diggins? You got anything to plug?
Nope. What about you, Nando?
Not really anything that I don't think I plugged before. Same videos. I'll probably have the Booster Gold fan casting video on Nebula before the next one of these comes out, but probably not before that. Also, I guess this is plug worthy because I'm probably going to put this out tomorrow or the next day. I'll be at Comic-Con on Friday and Saturday of this week, which is the 13th and 14th in New York. So if you are at that, just like follow me on Twitter or on the Discord. I'm sure I'll post like times where I'm at places, or just stop me if you see me and say hi, because those are always fun. I'll probably spend a lot of time outside if it's not raining, but it might rain on Saturday, so we will see. But yeah, so until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.